100 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Corey just thought you sounded inside.
I'm like, okay, I get it. I should have put a name tag on and said, my mic was low. I know.
Testing start.
Okay. Let it run there a minute and see what happens.
How you doing, old feller?
Well, I heard your name last week. I gave you credit. He gave you credit, so
Yeah.
I said he's still there.
Still there.
So I said I had to come out and see you.
Yeah. How you doing?
All right.
I stopped by your house the other day, and it was a while back ago when you weren't home, so I just kept on driving by.
How do you know I wasn't home?
Well, all the doors were shut and stuff.
Oh.
And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cassville, Missouri. The Cassville Wildcats, their home opener here in 2022, taking on the Aurora Hound Dogs, Big 8 East opponents, so it's their second crossover game in as many weeks. Last week, the Wildcats started out on the road at Hollister, picked up a nice 35-26 win over the Tigers, and now the home opener here tonight as they are taking on the Hound Dogs. It's been a couple of years since they've battled Aurora with the shuffling of the schedule with the Big 8 East and the Big 8 West. The Hound Dogs were in the first cycle through, but they have not been in the last 2 years. But now the Hound Dogs once again on the schedule, and this year here in Cassville to open up the home portion of the schedule. The Wildcats taking on Aurora here tonight on the Talon Sports Network, and we're glad to be with you for week number 2 of Cassville High School football here this evening. Sammy Clapper along with Jeremy Marple, Todd Speakman running the camera for us again on CassvilleWebTV.com. They are recognizing the 90 through 94 Cassville Wildcats, and they are introducing those players, and former players, I should say, on the field. Both teams have been going through their warm-ups here tonight. The sun is shining, and that is good news because the last 24 to 36 hours there has been a lot of rain in the area. In fact, Monette was supposed to play Mount Vernon last night, and thunderstorms and lightning forced the postponement of that game until Saturday. Last week, to open up the season, Cassville, Monette, Aurora all had to deal with weather delays. But tonight it looks like we're going to be in good shape as far as the weather is concerned. It's pushed off to the east, and the sun is out and shining. Should be a great night with some very mild temperatures for this early in the season. Temperatures expected to get down into the low 60s before this one is over here this evening. Again, we've got a really nice crowd gathering for this one between the Hound Dogs and the Wildcats. We're going to step aside, take a quick break, let you hear from some of our sponsors, be back with more of tonight's Mercy Hospital pregame show. Mercy Hospital in Cassville, where your life is their life's work. You're listening to Big 8 Conference Football here on the Talon Network. Tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these two schools, it's also an educational experience for the students involved. Because high school activities are about learning life's values, everyone that is attending tonight's game or will attend future games is reminded to do their part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship by showing good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson, and you'll be preserving a proud tradition in the state of Missouri. Tonight's sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. Cassville hosting Aurora here tonight. Big 8 crossover matchup, week number 2 of the high school football season, and the home opener for the Cassville Wildcats. Last week, as we said, Cassville picked up a win at Hollister, 35-26. The Aurora Hound Dogs hosted Seneca. It was only a one-possession game after the first quarter, but then Seneca turned things their favor late in the first half and then scored 20 third-quarter points and went on to a 44-8 win, dropping the Hound Dogs to 0-1 on the season. Other Big 8 games last week, Nevada pounded Springfield Catholic 62-7. Rogersville, in a competitive game, got by East Newton 35-22. Reed Springs shut out Monette 20-0. Marshfield got blanked by Lamar 48-0. And Mount Vernon upended McDonald County by a score of 31-7. Monette was supposed to play Mount Vernon last night in a Thursday night matchup. They got through the first quarter, but then the second lightning delay put the end to that contest, and they are going to resume that game tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock at Burrow Fowler Stadium in Monette, as the Mountaineers and the Cubs will try to complete that one. Everyone else is playing tonight. Springfield Catholic at Seneca, Rogersville at Lamar, Hollister at East Newton, Marshfield at McDonald County. Boy, that's a long road trip right there. And Reed Spring at Nevada. I bring in my partner, Jeremy Marple, and Wildcats went on the road to open up the season, picked up a really nice win over Hollister, and now here they are, week number 2 already. The season is just rolling right along, and the Hound Dogs are in town.
Hound Dogs are here. It's hard. I mean, it's September. It's hard to believe September's already here. As you said, great win last week. Going on the road, number 1, being down some players that you've been counting on. Number 2, dealing with that adversity. But it tells these coaches a lot about their football team. These guys stepped up, and they went on the road, won a game against a good football team. That Hollister team's going to win some games. I promise you that.
Yeah, you had some players being shuffled around, and then you had some guys getting plugged into spots earlier in the week. They weren't thinking they were going to have to play last Friday night, and everyone contributed.
Everybody contributed, and that's what you hope happens, in the event you have some injuries and things like that. You hope the next guy's ready to go. Last week, the Wildcats showed a little depth, so that was good. Not real sure, as far as the injuries, who's in, who's out this week. They're still dealing with some of that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you got the Hound Dogs in town tonight. They're coming off a loss. They want to get in that win column. And you talked about the rain delay or the lightning delay last night in the Mount Vernon Monette game. You and I remember a game against these very Hound Dogs at their place where we sat through what seemed like all night long. And I believe that was the last time that the Hound Dogs upended the Wildcats in 2004.
Triple overtime, and it's been that long since Aurora has beaten Cassville, and you're exactly right. It was an hour-and-a-half rain delay. In fact, a severe thunderstorm warning was issued for Lawrence County, and they had to clear everyone. We were the only ones left in the press box. But Aurora, that was the last time they defeated Cassville. Well, we will be back with more of the Mercy Hospital pregame show after this break. Mercy Hospital, where quality care matters. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back with you here in Cassville. The Wildcats getting ready to take on the Aurora Hound Dogs. We continue on with the Mercy Hospital pregame show. Mercy Hospital in Cassville, where your life is their life's work. Well, it's time for tonight's field condition report, and it's brought to you by Security Insurance of Cassville. Are you covered for the hazards of weather or losses unexpected? Call Security Insurance in Cassville at 847-8384. That's 847-8384. Well, the rain that was around earlier today has moved out of the picture, but over the last 24 to 36 hours, there's been a lot of rain here in Southbury County. But the field, after the two teams have went through their pregame warm-ups, is holding up really well. Of course, this is the season opener. This is the first game of 2022. The traditional little spot down here in the northwest corner of the end zone at the north end of the field, which is always probably the wettest spot on this field, has shown a little dirt after the team's warmed up, so it's got chewed up just a little bit, but everything between the hashes right now is looking pretty good. So despite all the rain over the last day to day and a half, as of now, this field has soaked a lot of it up, and with all the grass out there, it's looking to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's in great shape. Heard multiple people making comments earlier as we pulled in. So, yeah, it looks good. It's going to play good tonight.
Again, tonight's field condition report brought to you by Security Insurance in Cassville. Call 847-8384. All right, it's time for the Wildcat Keys to Victory, brought to you by Wesco Home Furnishings. Mark and the gang at Wesco invite you to stop by and view their wide selection of furniture, mattresses, and appliances at 109 West State Street in Cassville. You can also find them online at wescohome.com. Well, the Wildcats' one key to a win is to build on what they got started last week. Their running game was effective. They didn't throw the ball a lot, but it was effective. Their special teams were effective. And after a first quarter that saw Hollister get the majority of their yardage in that first quarter of play, their defense rose to the occasion. And when you get all aspects, all three, offense, defense, and special teams playing together, it usually comes out to a victory, and Cassville's hoping that continues here tonight.
Yeah, no question. And, again, it's still early, week 2. Another key is, avoiding those early season hiccups, mistakes, just little penalties and things that keep you behind the chains. The Wildcats need to, try to stay ahead of the chains tonight.
Another thing for a key to a win tonight, the Aurora Hound Dogs are under new guidance. Brandon Pitts comes over from West Plains. He's brought his offense along with him. We've seen the last couple of seasons the Hound Dogs predominantly pounding the football at you and running over the top of you. Coach Pitts has brought back some of the passing game as well, and they've got a couple of talented receivers out there with a lot of speed, so you're going to have to try to keep those receivers from getting big plays on you.
Well, you've got to play discipline on defense, and something we saw a little bit last week when the Wildcats get there, they were in position a lot, did not make the tackle after initial contact. Just better tackling tonight. Once you get there, in great position, go ahead and make the play.
And I think another key to a win tags on to what that was about the receiving corps. They've got a new quarterback as well. Get pressure on him, and that's definitely going to disrupt things that the Hound Dogs want to do.
Wildcats did a really nice job of that last week. You get pressure, and coverage pressure too. The Wildcats did a great job last week in coverage, which allowed those linebackers and D linemen to get that pressure as well.
Again, the Wildcat Keys to Victory brought to you by Wesco Home Furnishings. Mark Whittemire and the crew at Wesco in Cassville are looking forward to a great season of Wildcat football. And just like the quality portrayed by each player on the field, Wesco offers that same quality merchandise and customer service. Other games around the area tonight outside the Big 8, Joplin's at Willard, Carthage at Branson, Neosho at Nixa, Ozark at Republic. And Webb City played Carl Junction last night, and they did get their game completed. Webb City bounced back after a season-opening loss to Nixa. They defeated Carl Junction last night handily. And Neosho will see what they've got after scoring 79 points last week in a wild one against Willard, the second highest scoring game in Missouri State high school football history, 79-72. That's a basketball score. In fact, somebody brought up the fact, and they went back and looked, they scored more points in the football game last Friday night than Willard and Neosho did in the basketball game a year ago. And now they get thrown at Nixa, one of the top Class 6 teams in the state.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order. It's great you score 79, but it's not so good when you give up 72. So we'll see what happens tonight. Nixa, I think, is the real deal.
Well, the tunnel is being formed from the south end zone, along with the band and the bleacher creatures and a lot of the fans awaiting the Wildcats to come out on the field. The Hound Dogs will be out shortly as well. So we'll take another break here. We're closing in on the start of tonight's football game between Cassville and Aurora as we continue on with the Mercy Hospital pregame show. Mercy Hospital in Cassville, where quality care matters. You're listening to Big 8 Conference Football here on the Talon Network. Back with you here on the Mercy Hospital pregame show. The Wildcats and the Hound Dogs have both made their way out of the locker room, getting ready to go. Cassville in all black tonight for the home opener. Black helmets, black jerseys, and black pants. And the Hound Dogs in all white jerseys and pants with red helmets and the red numbers on the front and back. Cassville graced with the gold numbers on the front and back and the Wildcat logo on the helmet. Tonight's Wildcat broadcast crew is brought to you by Les Jacobs Ford in Cassville with factory-certified technicians to take care of your vehicle. Remember, you can trust Les Jacobs Ford. Years of experience in auto repair and maintenance. Les Jacobs Ford is your choice. Give them a call. And you can always drop by 76, 86, and 37 in Cassville, or find them online, lesjacobsford.com. And if you're following along the Wildcats broadcast, not only tonight but throughout the season, on the mobile apps, the Apple and Google phone apps are courtesy of White Funeral Home of Cassville. At White Funeral Home, they measure their success by the satisfaction of the families they serve. Tonight's Wildcat starting lineup is brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today. Locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Well, the starting lineup, not quite as chaotic as a week ago when they had 4 starters out and a couple of other guys questionable going into the game against Hollister. They still have 2 players, one that's a question mark, and we'll see if he comes out first time defensively, and another guy that we know is out, Jake Anthony's, will be out for week number 2. So Trey Wilson will be in the backfield, a 5'8", 155-pound senior, joined by Bryson Jacobson, a 6'1", 170-pound junior. Wilson last week ran for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he and Jacobson combined for over 100 yards on the ground. Quarterback will be Bodie Rose, the 5'10", 160-pound sophomore, ran for 150 and threw for 108 and 2 more touchdowns. The receivers, Garrett Ewing, he had 2 touchdown catches last week. He's a 5'6", 140 junior. And the other receiver, Hernan Hernandez. He's a second-team all-conference performer from a year ago. He's a 5'8", 175 senior. Tight end, Isaac Hadlow, 6', 200-pound senior. And the offensive line, Christian Tidwell, 5'9", 235 senior. Ethan Lamborn, 6'1", 230 senior. Joseph Ryder, 5'10", 200-pound junior. Nick Fierro, 6', 200-pound sophomore. And Austin Revelorio, 6'1", 230 senior. Defense for Cassville at the tackles, it'll be Isaac Hadlow, 6 foot, 200-pound senior. DJ Glidewell, 5'8", 240 freshman. He had a great game last week against Hollister. The defensive ends, Ethan Lamborn, 6'1", 215 junior, and Nick Fierro, 6 foot, 200-pound sophomore. The linebacking core, Riley Ruark, 6'1", 205-pound senior. Bryson Jacobson, 6'1", 170 junior. Keaton Schellenberger missed last week. He is a game-time decision tonight. If he cannot go tonight, it'll be Kenyon King, a 5'11", 185 sophomore. The corners, Trey Wilson, 5'8", 155 senior, and Hernan Hernandez, 5'8", 175 senior. Free safety, Garrett Ewing, 5'6", 140 junior, and the strong safety, Joseph Burton, 5'8", 160 junior. Again, the Wildcat starting lineup brought to you by Fast Trip. Whether you're looking for fuel, grocery items, fountain drinks, or snacks, they've got it all and at the best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. The Wildcat captains, along with the coaches from Aurora and Cassville, meeting out at midfield with the officials for the coin toss. Clay Weldy in his first year at head coach here at Cassville, and Brandon Pitts, first year head coach at Aurora. The coin toss is brought to you by the Clark Center. They've got offices in Berry, Lawrence, and Dade counties. Go to clarkmentalhealth.com to find the phone number for services in your area. Clark Community Mental Health Center, moving forward, improving lives and communities through compassion and care. Anthony's, even though he will not be playing tonight, is one of the team captains. He's out there at midfield along with Hernan Hernandez, also Ethan Lamborn, and Christian Tidwell. They are the captains for the Wildcats. We're down to a couple of minutes to go before tonight's opening kickoff. We'll see who wins the opening toss as the coaches are dismissed, and they'll head back to the sidelines. Beautiful night here for week number 2. Skies have cleared. We got lots of sunshine. Expected to get down into the 60s later on this evening. And for the second week of the season, couldn't ask for nicer temperatures for a high school football game. Normally this time we're in the 80s and 90s, if not pushing triple digits with lots of humidity. But after the rain has pushed on out, it's brought in a little bit of a cooler pattern behind it. And it looks like Aurora has won the coin toss, and they have deferred their option to the second half. So the Hound Dogs will be kicking off to the Wildcats to start the first quarter. So Cassville, last week, they gave the ball to Hollister. Tonight, Aurora is giving the ball to them, and the Hound Dogs defense will go up against the Wildcat offense to get things started.
And looking out at the flags on the uprights and the American flag in the northeast part of this football field, not much wind out here tonight, Sammy. It's going to be very calm, and you're right, the temperature is just about right.
Shadows are already creeping out across the field, and lights will be taking effect before we know it. Tonight's first quarter is brought to you by Michael's Hardware, located at 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. For your project questions, call Michael's. Friendly folks, serious hardware. And hey, if you're needing fall mums, those will be arriving soon at Michael's Hardware. They always have a nice selection of fall mums for your decorating needs. And if they're not already there, drop by every now and then and check them out. They have a great selection for your fall decorating needs. Trey Wilson and Bodie Rose will drop back deep for Cassville to await the kick of the Hound Dogs. And kicking off for Aurora will be Matthew Cutbirth. He is a sophomore. The officials check with the team captains. Now they check with each other. We're awaiting the whistle, and there it is. Cutbirth checks with his teammates, approaches, and boots it away, and we're underway. A short kick fielded on the right hash between the 20 and 25, picked up by Hernandez. He tries to reverse his field. He loses yardage, fighting for second effort, loses more yardage, and they say his progress is stopped back between the 15 and the 20. So they end up going backwards, and they're going to spot the ball at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, good coverage there by the Hound Dogs. Hernandez able to corral that football, just trying to make something happen. And when you get playmakers trying to make things happen, sometimes they run the wrong way, and it makes you pretty nervous, and the Hound Dogs took advantage of that.
Sophomore quarterback Bodie Rose up under center. He's got Jacobson and Wilson behind him. They are in the I formation, twin receivers out to the left, and Rose gives the handoff to Jacobson and then fakes the option out to the wide side of the field. Jacobson powers his way out to the 20-yard line and picks up a couple of yards on first down.
Big defensive front for the Hound Dogs out there tonight. This Wildcat offensive line is going to have to deal with. This time just straight ahead with Jacobson.
Yeah, you look at their 4 defensive linemen, 265, 265, 250, and 225. There's some big boys up there up front.
Absolutely, and Wildcat offensive line, you know, you're dealing with big guys, but it's all about leverage up there. If they can get a little leverage, they can move them.
This time Wilson goes in motion, sets up as a receiver out on the right side, twin receivers to the left. Rose looking to throw, dumps it over the middle. He's got a man open. It's the tight end Hadlow, and it's just off his fingertips, incomplete. Isaac Hadlow had broke wide open between the linebackers and the secondary out around the 35-yard line, and the ball goes off his fingertips just a little bit out in front, and it'll bring up third down.
A great play call right there, and it was there. Rose would like to have that throwback. He had Hadlow running right down the hash through the football, a little towards the middle of the field. Hadlow nearly making a great one-handed reception, but they'd like to have that one back.
Hadlow with some good size, too, at 210 pounds. At tight end, he catches that ball with a head of steam, and some defensive backs are going to have to get, you were talking about leverage, they're going to have to get low to bring him down,
Absolutely.
But it never happened, and it'll bring up third down. On the end around, the handoff goes to Ewing, and Ewing is snuffed out right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Wildcats trying a little misdirection there on third and long, and the Hound Dogs, you called it right there. That big offensive line that just did not get them moved around much right there.
Take a look at their linebackers as well. They've got some good size at linebacker. James Schutte is at 225, and the other linebacker over there trying to see his number. It's Justin Nickel at 195. The punt is away. It bounces at the 45 and then touched by the Wildcats' Jared Reynolds. He may have touched that a little prematurely as the ball was still headed towards the south end zone, but the Hound Dogs are going to get it at their own 42.
Yeah, ball just found him as Reynolds was going down in coverage. The ball just kind of bounced up on him. There is a penalty back well behind the punt. We'll see what this is all about.
Right now they've got the ball spotted at the Aurora 42-yard line. It was a 38-yard kick, no return. And the crew conferring. And now the signal. And it's going to be a personal foul against Cassville. So that will move the ball across midfield into Wildcat territory.
Yeah, those are killers right there. Those are big ones. 15-yarders. Just giving up free yards like that. That's not a key to victory tonight, Sammy.
So the ball moved to the Cassville 43. And that's where the Hound Dogs will take over. Kelton Brown, the quarterback, he is a senior but has not played since his freshman year. He's got Evan Hartwigson in the backfield along with Jackson Prater. And Jax Prater around the right end. Dives out across the 44 and fights his way back to the 43, and he is able to just get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it, no gain.
Hound Dogs trying to run a little stretch play to the right edge. Nice job in there. Looked like Hadlow, the defensive end on that side, did a really nice job of tying up that tight end and bringing the ball carrier down.
So second down and 10 for the Hound Dogs. Lone receiver comes wide to the left. They're unbalanced that way as well. Brown gives it on the inside, and around the left end they come, and this time it is Hartwigson, and he takes it inside the 40 down to about the 35. Looks like they say he stepped on the sidelines at the 36-yard line. So it's a gain of 7. It'll bring up about second down and 2 or 3.
Well, Hartwigson was able to get to the Wildcat sideline, got the corner turn, picked up a nice block out there around the 40-yard line, and was able to make something happen there.
So the Wildcats unsuccessful on their first third down try of the night. We'll see what the Hound Dogs can do here, facing third down and about 3 to go from the Cassville 36. Early on here in the first quarter, still no score. Hound Dogs reset to the right side. Here comes Brown. He's going to run it himself, and he is hit before he gets to the line of scrimmage and then falls forward to avoid the loss. But a great job there by the Wildcats defensive front, and that was Nick Fierro that got to the quarterback, and it ends up only being about a half a yard gain. It'll bring up 4th and 2.
Fierro in there, also Tidwell. Really nice play there to bring up 4th down. We'll see what the Hound Dogs want to do here.
They check to the sidelines. Coach Pitts, along with his staff, sending a play in. So it looks like just outside the Cassville 35, the Hound Dogs are going to try to shake something loose here early on in this one. 8:33 left to go in the first quarter. Twin receivers right and left, and Brown going to run it himself. He's got the first down and more. A big hole up the middle. He breaks the tackle at the 25, and he's going to take it in for the touchdown.
It's your quarterback draw right there off the right side. Brown, 6'3", long and lanky. Once he got the wound up, he ran away from the Wildcat defense, showed some nice speed there, straight down the middle of the field.
So the Hound Dogs strike first here tonight, a 36-yard touchdown run from Kelton Brown. And that was on 4th down and 2. And now the extra point. And it is a left-footed kicker, Armando Alvarez, a senior. And the kick is up. It's low, but it's good. It's between the uprights, and the Hound Dogs lead with 8:22 left to go, quarter number 1. By a score of 7-0. A 4-play, 43-yard drive, 15-yard penalty at the outset. Got the ball on the Cassville side of midfield, and the Hound Dogs took it in 43 yards on 4 plays to strike on the 36-yard run by Kelton Brown. So Aurora out in front, 7-0 early on in this one. Tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware in Cassville. Let them quarterback your project with the right tools and supplies for the job. Michael's Hardware, friendly folks, serious hardware. A broken tackle about the 25-yard line, and once he broke through that, it was off to the races.
Really was, and the Hound Dogs couldn't have asked for a better way to start this game. They get a stop defensively, get the football, and work their way right down the field, cap it off with a big play to take the lead early in this one.
Trey Wilson and Bodie Rose back at their own 10, awaiting the kick of Matthew Cutbirth once again. So it's 7-0 Hound Dogs here, not quite halfway through the opening quarter. Cutbirth approaches. A little short kick, bounces at the 35, scooped up there, and out across the 38 to the 39, maybe the 40. We'll see if they give him the 40. I think that was Riley Ruark, wasn't it?
Yes.
That scooped up that short kick, and they do spot it down at the 40-yard line of the Wildcats.
A nice starting field position for the Wildcats right here. Ruark able to pick the football up on a bounce, maintain possession of it. Wildcat offense on the field, see if they can get something going in this drive.
Cassville able to gain only a couple of yards their first possession. 1st and 10 at their own 40. Twin receivers to the right. Looks like a little confusion out here between Hernandez and Ewing. Now they get it straightened out. They reset the tight end Hadlow around to the right side. Split backfield behind Rose, and he's going to run in behind those 2 running backs. Tries to break it to the outside. Gets to the edge. He's across the 45, but a flag comes out trailing the play. And like we talked last week in the game against Hollister, you have those flags behind the play, and those are not in good spots for the offense. Rose was able to take it out to the 47, which was a pickup of 7 yards, but the flag thrown against Cassville.
Yeah, nice play there. Pretty good design, and blocking up front was there. Just somebody got a little too much jersey on the edge right there as Rose made the turn. But that's going to move them backward, and Wildcats working behind the chains right here.
So it ends up being 1st down and almost 20 to go as the penalty flag was thrown just across the line of scrimmage. A good run by Rose. He ran for 150 yards last week and had a nice pickup there on that one, but it's taken away by the penalty. So the ball at the Cassville 31 now. They keep the backfield split behind Rose. Aurora leading 7-0 with 7:50 left to go in the opening quarter. Rose is going to run it again, and this time he tries between the tackles, and the Hound Dogs defense stacks them up, and now we got a flag thrown out here between a cornerback and a receiver, as there was a little pushing and shoving and scrambling going on. And the side judge threw this flag, and that was way away from the play. The ball carrier was able to pick up only a couple of yards, and the flag against the Hound Dogs.
Yeah, you had some little extracurricular activity out there against the Hound Dogs. These players are going to head to the sideline and visit with the coach about that. But the Wildcats going to get some yards on that penalty.
So they will move it all the way out to the 47-yard line after the penalty. So each team has been assessed a 15-yarder against them here in the first quarter.
A little chippy in a game, Wildcats and Hound Dogs. Who'd have thunk it?
And they haven't played each other for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Maybe some of that pent-up energy is coming out here in the first quarter. So Cassville needing to make it to midfield to pick up the first down. That's only 3 yards away. Bodie Rose gives it to Jacobson. A lot of room around the left end. He's got the first down into Hound Dog territory. Takes on contact and is brought down at the 45.
Nice job right there. Jacobson going off left tackle. Nice blocking up front right there. He was able to read the block, get downfield. Good run there by Jacobson.
Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in metal roofing. Look them up on Facebook or YouTube and request a free quote. You can find them online at superiormetalsalesinc.com. So the Wildcats with their first down of the night. The ball resting at the Aurora 45-yard line. Rose this time gives the ball to Wilson. Wilson, a block on the edge, and he's down the sidelines at the 30, at the 20, at the 10, brought down at the 5. Good job by Dante Floyd not giving up on the play to keep Wilson out of the end zone, but it'll be first and goal, Cassville.
Yeah, nice play. Great burst of speed by Wilson. Wildcats working on the far hash mark. The play coming to the right. Wilson caught a nice block and just raced to the Wildcat sideline to the wide side of the field. Touchdown saving tackle at the end, but nice blocking up front and great burst there shown by Wilson.
The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in custom ag buildings. Check them out on Facebook or YouTube. Call for a free quote at 888-364-9527. They say his knee was down at the 6, so it's first and goal Cassville with 6:42 left to play here in the opening quarter. The Wildcats trailing 7-0. They give the ball to Wilson. Wilson gets a block on the edge but runs out of room as there were too many Hound Dog defenders over there blocking the pathway to the end zone, and they run him out of bounds. Looks like at the 3, and it'll be second and goal from there.
Wilson played a little, we saw him in some running back last year in some roles, but had not worked running back until last Tuesday. He'd been working wide receiver due to some injuries. Back to the running back role. Great job last week. We're starting to see some of that. He's still kind of getting the feel of the running back. He might have had a cut back lane or two right there, but he's getting it figured out.
Split backfield behind Rose once again. Second and goal from the 3-yard line. They give it to Wilson. He's running in behind Jacobson. Breaks a tackle at the 2, trying to break the plane, and he will not as he takes it down to the 1, and it'll be third and goal.
Wildcats inching their way towards that goal line. Looks to be just inside the 1 or right at it, right at the 1-yard line.
Looks like they set it down right on the 1. So third and goal from the 1. Cassville unsuccessful, their first third down try. They can punch it in from here. They're an extra point away from tying it up. They go with the full house backfield. Power I formation. Rose gives the ball to Jacobson. Running in behind 2 blockers over the left side into the end zone. Touchdown, Cassville.
Nice job there by this Wildcat offense to answer the Hound Dog score. They take the football and work it down the field and punch it in from 1. Nice blocking up front and the big power package the Wildcats put on the field in short yardage situations.
8 plays, 60-yard drive. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance on the square in Cassville, also in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Stop by and get a quote today. Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. Peter Littlefield in to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Garrett Ewing. Snap back, ball down on the tee. The kick is up, and it is good. And with 5:51 left to go in the opening quarter, we are tied at 7. The Wildcat extra point brought to you by the Barbecue Station, 900 Main in downtown Cassville. Get your bib on at the Barbecue Station. You can also call them for your next catered event at 847-0470. That's 847-0470. So after the Hound Dogs went on top 7-0, Cassville marches the ball 60 yards in 8 plays. Had the big run by Wilson. Sets up the score. And Jacobson takes it in from 1 yard out. And just like that, we're knotted at 7.
The Wildcats almost seemed like they just needed to get into the game a couple of minutes before they start playing football. They were like they weren't quite ready at that opening kickoff. Hound Dogs were really fired up to get this one going. And you know, Sammy, that the coaches and the players, they're all talking about, hey, 2004 is the last time that we beat this bunch. You know they want this game very bad tonight.
Peter Littlefield tees it up and gets set to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash in Cassville. Come try out the all-new IQ Soft Cloth Automatic. It features custom wash technology, giving you the perfect wash every time. Littlefield puts this one down the right hash, fielded back at the 16-yard line as the return comes out by Jax Prater, and Prater out across the 20, across the 25, and is upended out around the 30, and we've got an injured Hound Dog. He's a little slow getting up. Now he's to his feet. Now he's stopped once again, so he'll head to the sidelines. They spot Prater down at the 31-yard line, and that's where the Hound Dogs will start their second possession of the night.
Looks like a water break for both teams here. You got a player or two on both sides kind of gimped up a little bit after special teams. You know, special teams, especially in the kickoff, you know, you're kicking the football and those guys full speed, and there can be some wicked collisions on a kickoff.
We're just past halfway in the first quarter, so the mandatory stoppage for a water break and a little cool down for the first 3 weeks of the high school football season. Doesn't matter whether we have a cold front come through or not. It's a mandatory rule from Misha to give the players a little hydration and give them a little chance to catch wind, which is always a good thing because normally this time of year we're dealing with very warm temperatures, but tonight we're blessed with a little cooler weather, but it's still somewhat humid. There's a lot of moisture in the air until this system completely pushes through. They're talking about some nice weather temperature-wise for the holiday weekend. Might be a little shower here and there, but overall it looks to be pretty nice for the holiday coming up. 7-7 our score here, 5:45 left to go in quarter number one. And the Hound Dogs with their second possession of the night. Kelton Brown, quarterback, will operate from the shotgun. He's got twin receivers to the right. He brings a man in motion, resets, and now another man comes in motion. Going to the left side of the field, and they give the handoff to him, and that's Hartwigson. Hartwigson was the motion man. He gets the ball, turns the corner, and is hammered out at the 35-yard line, falls forward to the 36 for a pickup of 5. So second down and 5 for the Hound Dogs from their own 36-yard line. Hartwigson had 41 yards rushing last week against Seneca. He's already got 12 here in the first quarter. Twin receivers right and left now for the Hound Dogs. Brown calls for the football from the shotgun. Cassville with a 4-man rush. Brown looking to throw for the first time. He's got Floyd, and he overthrows the intended receiver, and it's intercepted by Hernandez.
A nice play there by Hernandez. The Wildcats, great coverage right there. They had one in front, one in back. As Brown trying to thread the needle there, showed a nice arm, but threw into coverage right there, and Hernandez, great job making a play on the football. Comes up with a big turnover for his defense.
Cassville will take over at their own 38 with 5.5 left to go in the first. And the ball may have sailed just a little bit on Brown. Floyd was open, cutting underneath the defensive secondary, and the ball just sailed up over the top, and Hernandez saw it all the way, read it perfectly, and comes up with the pick. I formation behind Bodie Rose, and now we got flags at the snap of the football. Some movement along the line, and 5 yards will be marked off against the Wildcats.
Sometimes an offensive lineman, when you look across that line and you're outweighed by 30 or 40 pounds, it's to your advantage to get a little bit of a jump, get that angle on that defender right there. Somebody jumped a little bit too early for that ball snap.
So instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 15. The ball backed up to the 33. 7-7 ball game here, a little over halfway through the opening quarter. Hound Dogs showing blitz, now back out of it. Rose looking to throw, and he throws it up and drops it right into the hands of the intended receiver, Wilson, and Wilson is gone. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Real neat play call right there. Great execution. This time Wilson ripping the football away as the Aurora defender got a hand in there. But Rose on the play action came back to the Hound Dog sideline. Wilson streaking down that sideline. Rose dropped it in there real nice. Wilson made the catch, took care of the rest, off to the races. Great play call, great execution there for the Wildcats.
So the Wildcats break on top for the first time tonight. And now Peter Littlefield in to attempt the point after. Snap was low, but the ball scooped up off the turf. Good job by Garrett Ewing to get it on the tee. And the extra point by Littlefield is good. And it's 14-7 Wildcats with 5:15 left to go here in the opening quarter. A 67-yard touchdown pass from Bodie Rose to
Trey Wilson.
Trey Wilson coming out of the backfield. Yeah, I was looking up at my receivers, and I didn't have his name marked down yet, so I'm going to have to add his name to my receiving corps. Wilson's got 44 yards rushing, and now he's got nearly 70 yards receiving.
He was part of that play action in the backfield there, and Rose did a great job of selling. Came back, took his eyes back to the Hound Dog sideline as Wilson had leaked out and up, and down the sideline he went. And again, the catch, as Rose did a nice job showing some touch right there, not just trying to fire that thing, put a little touch on it. Wilson running, going up for the football. There was a Hound Dog defender that had his hand in there. Wilson just ripped it right away from him and never broke stride.
Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. If you're at the lake, drop by and see the folks at Willis Insurance at the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob, or call 858-3747. And the Wildcat extra point brought to you by the Barbecue Station. Call 847-0470 for all your catering needs. The Wildcats kick it away, and it's returned by the Hound Dogs, and good coverage on the return man, Nate Irvin. As he started to go right, cut back to his left, brings it across the 15, but is dropped at the 17.
Yeah, nice job right there in cover, just flying down the field. Brennan Solinsky, among others, on that play. Great coverage.
Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. Clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. First and 10 Hound Dogs at their own 17-yard line. 5:09 left to go first quarter. Cassville with their first lead after the Hound Dogs struck first. It's back-to-back touchdowns by the Wildcats. They're on top 14-7. Hound Dogs still from the shotgun. Twin receivers right and left. Cutbirth goes from the left end around to the right end. And now they bring a man back in motion from the opposite side, and that's Prater. And they give the ball to Prater. Prater reverses fields, got an offensive lineman ahead of him, but good job by Bodie Rose along with, try to get the other man if I can see his number, that's Jacobson, as they got in around behind the lead blocker and dropped him for a short gain out to the 21.
Yeah, good pursuit there defensively. Always trying to fly to the football, and a nice job there by the defense.
Gain of about 3.5 yards, second down, we'll call it 6. Kelton Brown takes the snap, going to run it himself. Hole up the middle. He struck for a touchdown on the play of that variety earlier in the ball game. This time he takes it out to the 30, gains 9 yards, and picks up a first down.
Yeah, out of the shotgun, just a quarterback draw there. He takes the snap, uses his eyes, he finds the seam. As you said, 36-yard touchdown on it earlier. Picks up a first down on it this time.
Tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware. They'll give your to-do list a game plan that's sure to be a winner. Michael's Hardware in Cassville. Closing in on 4 minutes left to play in the opening quarter. 14-7, Cassville with the lead, and receivers moved, running backs moved, but the football didn't move, and flags fly everywhere, and the Hound Dogs assessed a 5-yard penalty.
You always wonder how your wide receivers will jump like that. All they've got to do, they look in and they wait for the ball to move and take off.
Yeah, because they're usually, and he was way out there. Now, if you're in the slot, you can kind of hear sometimes, but when you're lined up that wide, you're going on the ball. You're not paying attention to noise because you're so far away, but he definitely jumped that one. The Hound Dogs looking to run the ball, trying to catch the middle of the Cassville defense off guard. They handed up the middle to Hartwickson, and he is able to plunge ahead to the 26, but it's a gain of only 1.
Yeah, looked like Canyon King on the play there, playing a linebacker position.
Yeah, we neglected to mention Schellenberger not able to go tonight, so King in there. We talked about that in the pregame. He comes up with a nice stop there, and it'll bring up second down and 13. 14-7 Cassville. Still 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Brown from the shotgun. Looked like he wanted to throw, but now he's going to tuck it and run. Takes on contact at the 30-yard line, and the pile moves forward. Good, strong run by Brown as he gets an extra 3 or 4 yards after he was hit. Still going to come up well short of the first down marker, though. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, he took a pretty good shot over there, hung on to the football, and moved forward. But Wildcats forcing a 3rd down right here. Going to try to get the Hound Dogs off the field.
Hound Dogs unsuccessful their first 3rd down conversion try. This one 3rd and 4 from their own 35.5-yard line. Play clock down to 2. They're going to have to hurry. They get the snap away. Brown trying to run to the short side, and he's got the first down. Turns the corner and takes it across the 40 out to the 43, maybe the 44, and the Hound Dogs move the chains.
Yeah, again, quarterback just taking the football, this time working his way off the right edge, headed over towards that Hound Dog sideline. They got good push over there, and he just tucked in behind him, knew what he had to get, and got it.
It was a gain of nearly 9 yards out to the 44-yard line. 1st and 10 Aurora. We're down to 2:10 left to go here in the opening quarter. Cassville leading 14-7. Hound Dogs on the right hash, so the wide side of the field is to their left. They run to the short side, though, as they give the handoff to Alex Rios. First time he's touched the ball tonight. Rios had a pretty decent game yardage-wise back in the season opener against Seneca. And he takes it out to the 46-yard line. And, yep, that's where they're going to put it for a gain of 2.
Outside linebackers playing pretty well. Ruark right there also looked like Jacobson in there to help out with the tackle.
90 seconds and ticking left here in the opening quarter. Cassville leading by 7. 2nd down and 8. Brown dumps it out of the backfield, throws it out in front of the intended receiver, Cutbirth. As he tries to make a diving reception over there along the Hound Dog sidelines, but it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, just a situation there. Brown threw the football out in front of him. If he just puts it right on his body, they may pick up the first down. Just tried to lead him a little too much there.
So another 3rd down situation. 3rd down and 8 facing the Hound Dogs at their own 46. Unbalanced right. Man comes in motion. That's Prater. Sets up behind Brown. Brown fakes the handoff to him. They look like they want to set up the screen, and there to knock it away. Great defensive play as they read it all the way for the Wildcats. Big number 58, Ethan Lamborn, right in there and nearly got to the intended receiver before the football got there. He came real close to being able to get an interception there on a screen pass.
Yeah, he read it. He sniffed it out early, and he just waited. And there it was. Big play there by Lamborn. Great job.
So the Hound Dogs, facing 4th down, will be forced to punt for the first time tonight. Hernandez and Rose drop back deep. And whistles and flags.
I think the Hound
Punter
Dogs
is Alex DeWitt, by the way.
may have been moving a little bit early there, and that is the case.
So 3rd flag against Aurora for a total of 25 yards. And we'll back them up to the 41, and DeWitt will try it again. DeWitt, an offensive and defensive lineman. You see these guys kicking once in a while, but a 250-pound punter, you don't see that every day. This is Reggie Roby style. High snap this time, but DeWitt brings it down, gets the kick away, bounces at the 40 of the Wildcats, takes an Aurora bounce and rolls inside the 30 and will be downed at the 29. 1:04 left to go, opening quarter. Cassville leading 14-7.
The Wildcats doing a nice job on defense there to get the Hound Dogs off the field, bring that offense back on the field. Been having some success here. 14-7 football game and 1 minute 4 seconds to go here in the first.
30-yard kick, no return. Cassville takes over at their own 29. Rose is going to spin away from the defense, makes a quick cut, goes back against the grain, and tiptoes his way out to the 34-yard line.
Jacobson trying to lead block. There's Rose running a little quarterback sweep. Just some big bodies out there in front of that play. And difficult to move.
Didn't get the spot I thought he was going to get. They put it down at the 33, so it's a gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Cassville with one more opportunity to get a playoff here before the first quarter comes to an end. They lead it 14-7. They send twin receivers to the left, split backfield behind Rose. And Rose down the line of scrimmage. The pass is caught by Ewing, and Ewing with a quick hitter out across the 40, out to the 45, and picks up a Wildcat first down.
Yeah, nice job right there. Just Rose taking the snap, opening up to his left, and firing it right down the line of scrimmage to Ewing. Ewing getting a block out there on the edge, is able to step inside a man and picked up the first down. Good play.
It's a gain of 12. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in color selection. Check them out and find their gallery at superiormetalsalesinc.com. Looks like the Wildcats are going to let the final seconds tick away and head on to quarter number 2. Tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware. Friendly folks and serious hardware at Michael's Hardware, 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. 14-7, Cassville with the lead as we head to the second quarter. We'll be back after this break. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Well, that turned out pretty good as we come back to get set for the second quarter. Tonight's second quarter is brought to you by Aurora Diesel. They're just north of Cassville on Highway 37. They're the leader in the region for diesel performance. If your engine's not running just right, take it to Aurora Diesel Performance. They specialize in diesel performance. You can find them online at roarkdiesel.com. 14-7 Cassville as we start quarter number 2. The Wildcats with the football at their own 45-yard line. Bryson Jacobson with a rushing touchdown. Trey Wilson with a touchdown reception on a toss from Bodie Rose, and the Wildcats lead it by 7. Kelton Brown with the rushing touchdown for the Hound Dogs. Jacobson with the lead blocker and a big hole around the left end. A burst of speed down the sidelines. Does he stay in bounds? They say he does, and he will take it to the house. Touchdown, Cassville.
Hey, great job right there. Power off the left side. Jacobson bounced out towards the Wildcat sideline, and he made a great cut just beyond the line of scrimmage to get himself downfield. Tiptoed along the sideline right around the 35, but he stayed in bounds and off to the races. Really nice run there, and great blocking up front by the Wildcats on that play.
Yeah, the only question was he going to be able to keep his feet in bounds between the 35 and the 40 along the Cassville sidelines? The official right there said he did, and once he got the balance back underneath him, it was off to the races. The extra point by Littlefield is up and good, and the Wildcats add to their lead. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. Willis Insurance, they've been in business for over 130 years, and you don't stay in business that long unless you treat your customers right. They're located in Shell Knob as well as on the square in Cassville, 2 locations to serve the area better. Stop by Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. And the Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by the Barbecue Station. The sweet smell of midday on Main Street in Cassville is all courtesy of the Barbecue Station. 900 Main, call 847-0470. 55-yard touchdown run from Bryson Jacobson, his second score of the night. Took the Wildcats only 3 plays to go the 71 yards. And 1 minute and 10 seconds off the clock. And they lead it 21-7.
Again, just a great cut by Jacobson off of that block to propel himself down the field. He was working towards that sideline. He just made a great cut and was able to stay in bounds. Great play right there.
Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash, with technology that gives you the perfect wash every time. With Baywash, a clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Again, the Apple and Google phone apps are courtesy of White Funeral Home. You can listen in on those apps and enjoy Wildcat football. White Funeral Home and Crematory, let them help lighten your load. Kick by Littlefield is fielded by Floyd back around his own 10-yard line, and he has stood up at the 25, and that's where his return will end.
Nice job there. Once again in coverage by the Wildcats.
We got a flag out between the hashes. They spot him down at the 26.
See what this is, Josh.
And it's going to be a holding call against the Hound Dogs.
Josh Yount in coverage for the Wildcats making the play in the open field.
Got some updates around the Big 8 here in week number 2.
Couple
Still no score
surprises
between Hollister and East Newton. 7-6, Reed Spring over Nevada. That one early on. Marshfield and McDonald County, the Mustangs lead the Blue Jays 7-0. No score between Rogersville and Lamar. 30-0. Seneca over Springfield Catholic. And, of course, the Monette Mount Vernon game will resume tomorrow. But you got a scoreless game, Rogersville and Lamar. A scoreless game, Hollister and East Newton.
And Rogersville at Lamar, it's scoreless in the second.
Lamar put 48 points on the board at Marshfield last week. So 1st and 10 Hound Dogs. And the Hound Dogs running the ball on first down from their own 16-yard line.
Wildcat defense, just every series showing a little more confidence going up against the bigger Hound Dog offensive line. Not only are they big on the defensive line, they're big on the offensive line too. But this Wildcat defense, again, just gaining confidence every single snap.
It's a gain of 2 out to the 18-yard line, 2nd down and 8. Early on here in the second quarter, Cassville leading 21-7. Hound Dogs with the football. Brown looking to throw down the line of scrimmage, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Evan Hartwickson.
Yeah, the ball just got away from him there on the throw. Just looked like it slipped out of his hand and sailed. Right there on the play was Hernandez.
Again, tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. They've been providing Cassville and the surrounding area with a huge selection of diesel performance products since 2006. You can give them a call at 847-6560 or find them online at roarkdiesel.com. So another third down play facing the Hound Dogs. They're still looking for that first third down conversion of the night. Cassville resetting on the defensive side as well. Brown rolling to his left. Steps up, launches one. He's looking for Floyd, and the ball is batted away by Trey Wilson. He was one-on-one with Floyd, and Wilson giving up about 5 or 6 inches to Dante Floyd, but he timed it perfectly and swatted it away.
Yeah, great job right there. And it's a tough play because Floyd's running all the way across the field. The motion of the play is going to the left. Floyd's coming back. Brown did a nice job of selling it, but just a great job by Wilson of staying with the play and going up at the tail end and knocking it away. Nice job there.
So 4th and 8 facing the Hound Dogs. And DeWitt will kick it away. Low snap, he scoops it up, gets the kick, a line drive, bounces at the 44, rolls out across midfield into Cassville territory, still rolling, and it will be downed at the Wildcat 43.
Nice job again by this Wildcat defense, keeping the field position in the offense's favor. Great starting position once again.
Better kick that time by DeWitt, 39 yards, no return. And the Wildcats take over at their own 43, leading 21-7. 10:36 left to go in the first half. Hound Dogs broke on top first, but it's been 3 unanswered touchdowns by the Wildcats. They've got the ball back with good starting field position. The handoff goes to Wilson. Wilson had a hole, but somebody reached in and grabbed him by the leg, and just enough to knock him off balance and trip him up. And I was trying to see, they've got big number 67 there, Ethan Hoosman. And a lot of folks probably remember his older brother, Mason Hoosman, who was an all-state performer back a few years ago. Well, Ethan's got good size as well, 6'4", 265 pounds, and he brings down Wilson after a gain of only 2.
Yeah, Wilson looked to be heading for open pastures right there, and Hound Dog defender able to get an arm in there and slow him down.
Wildcat split backfield. Rose throws, and they were trying to set up a little receiver screen out here with Riley Ruark and Garrett Ewing, and the pass was off the mark, and it'll go incomplete and bring up third down.
Yeah, tough throw right there, throwing from the far hash, trying to throw all the way to the wide side of the field. Rose may have just rushed it a little bit there, and incomplete.
So 3rd down and long facing Cassville. Wildcats leading 21-7 here with just under 10 minutes left to go before halftime. Twin receivers to the left. They go back to the I formation behind Bodie Rose. He'll pitch the ball back to Ewing. They look for the end around. Now they look for the halfback option. They got a man wide open. It's Ewing. The defensive back falls down. Ewing makes the catch and will take it in for the score. Touchdown, Cassville.
A little trickery right there, a little double reverse pass. Ruark ended up with the football heading back against the grain towards the middle of the football field. Ewing had got behind everyone, no one within 15 yards of him. Great throw, great catch, another touchdown for the Wildcats.
Well, they've had a 55-yard run tonight. Now they've got a 55-yard touchdown pass. And Littlefield in to attempt the extra point. Another low snap, but Ewing gets it on the tee, and the kick is up and good. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance for auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance. See the folks at Willis Insurance on the square in Cassville and in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Stop by and get a quote today. And the Wildcat extra point brought to you by the Barbecue Station, 900 Main in Cassville. If you've got a party, an event, need some great tasting barbecue to serve your guests, call them for your next catered event, 847-0470. Well, it took the Wildcats only a minute to score that time. And 55 yards. Ewing had a couple of touchdown receptions last week. Gets his first of the night here this evening. And the Wildcats add to their lead, 28-7. And now Littlefield set to kick it away. And as always, the Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. A clean car is a happy car, and that's what you'll get at Baywash Car Wash in Cassville.
Play like that it takes a while to develop as Wilson got the initial toss from the quarterback heading to the left. Ruark at the wide receiver position going back against the grain to the right. Got the pitch from Wilson, threw the football, and that's tough because Ewing's wide open back there. And you don't want to overthrow him. You don't want to underthrow him. Just throw it to him. And that's exactly what he did. Ewing, on the other end of that, he's wide open. You better catch that football. You got a lot of people up here watching.
Exactly.
So the Wildcats execute, score the touchdown.
Alex Rios scoops up the line drive kick from Littlefield back around his own 20 and returns it out to the 33-yard line, and that's where the Hound Dogs will start this drive. Well, after scoring on their first possession of the night, they've had a turnover on an interception and then back-to-back punts. So it's 1st and 10 at their own 33, trailing 28-7. 9.5 left to go before halftime. Kelton Brown takes the snap, gives it off to Hartwickson. Hartwickson tries to go left, cuts back to his right, and dives out to the 35 for a pickup of 2.
Yeah, good job along that defensive line there. Outside linebacker, Ruark, also 82, Canyon King, sophomore linebacker. Again, you're talking about players stepping up, filling a role. When somebody's injured, Canyon King doing a nice job tonight.
Twin receivers to the right, single man out to the left. They put it back in the backfield with Brown, and they give him the football. And the ball carrier takes it across the 35 out to the 36, and that was Jack Sprader.
Hound Dogs continue to try to run right at this Wildcat defense. This defense is getting stingy right now, not giving much up per carry. Another 3rd and long for the Hound Dogs.
After the 1-yard pickup, it's 3rd down and 7. They've got to get out to the 44-yard line to pick up a 1st down. Play clock down to 10 seconds. Hound Dogs just now coming out of the huddle. Play clock down to 5 seconds. Brown gets everyone set, brings a man in motion. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, going through to Hartwickson, rolls to his right. Now under pressure, they try to throw underneath, and a sliding reception.
Nope.
Did he make the catch? Nope. The back judge comes across and says that he did not get it off the turf. Trying to go to Jose Ibarra, the big tight end, and the ball was thrown a little bit behind him, and he couldn't scoop it off the grass.
Side judge was calling reception, but the player had his back to him. Back judge came in, saw the play, immediately incomplete. Nice job. Wildcats going to get the football back once again.
So Alex DeWitt in to punt it away. Rose and Hernandez back to await the kick. Snap is back to the punter, and a line drive kick. Bounces at the 40. Takes a big hop inside the 30. Still rolling, and it's got on its side. It's going to roll a ways. All the way inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. So a good pump by DeWitt. Cassville was hoping to get the ball back with some good field position. And it's not horrible, but it could have been a lot better if not from that good punt by DeWitt. And we've got a stoppage, an official's timeout here as we're approaching the midway point of the second quarter to allow the teams to hydrate once again.
Speaking of the punt, just a line drive punt, spinning down through there, and chances are when it hits, it's going to roll and angle it away from the return man, and it can be effective. So we saw right there.
So let's see here. We've got the ball at the 17. Ends up being a 47-yard kick that time by DeWitt. So he keeps getting better and better with his punts. And this time the Wildcats back inside their own 20 on their fourth possession of the first half. And they're just the opposite of the Hound Dogs. They had to punt their first possession, but now it's been 4 consecutive touchdowns by the Wildcats. And they look to keep that string going with still 8 minutes and 2 seconds left to go here before halftime. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. Find them online at roarkdiesel.com. Give them a call at 847-6560. Or drop by. They're located just north of Cassville on Highway 37. They're the leader in the region for diesel performance parts. Split backfield behind Bodie Rose. And he gives the ball to the tailback, Wilson. Wilson running behind the blocking of the offensive line. And Jacobson plows out across the 25 to the 26. A good pickup on first down. And it'll bring up second down and 1.
Wildcat offensive line playing really well tonight, Sammy. They're firing off the football. They're getting some positive movement up there, allowing those running backs to find those seams and hit them quickly.
And that was Nick Fierro. We've talked about him on the defensive side. He came up big there, leading the way for Trey Wilson.
Hey, he was 10 yards downfield, blocking straight ahead.
Second down and 1, Cassville. Hound Dogs stay with the 4-man front. Rose takes the snap, gives it to Wilson again. Jacobson with a nice kick out block, and Wilson turns the corner, picks up the first down out to the 30-yard line. Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. They're first in all your farm building needs. Check them out online for examples of what they can custom build for you. SuperiorMetalSalesInc.com.
Wildcats moving the chains once again, and a lot of success tonight on first down for the Wildcats. They're ripping off these runs, and it really allows you to do a lot of things offensively when you have nice gains on first down.
Your Wildcat broadcast team brought to you by Les Jacobs Ford in Cassville, your hometown dealership with hometown roots. Proud to be giving back to their community. Go Wildcats. Find them online at lesjacobsford.com. First and 10 from the 30. Wildcats with a 28-7 lead. This time Jacobson gets the call, and he dives out to the 35-yard line. That's where the ball ended up, but they say his knee touched down at the 34 after a pickup of 4, second down and 6.
Yeah, trying to go off left edge right there. Just got tripped up a little bit. Wasn't quite able to step over that defender. Not a bad gain on first down, though.
70 yards unofficially and 2 touchdowns already for Jacobson on only 5 carries. Down to 6.5 left to go before intermission here at Wildcat Stadium. Rose taking his time. Now he takes the snap, going to run the option. Couple of blockers in front, waits for them to pick up the defense, and then bursts through with this blast of speed, and he's down the sidelines, and again to the house. Cassville Wildcat touchdown.
A quarterback sweep. We see the Wildcats like to run it, and why not? Rose has got great athleticism, showed some great speed right there. But running to the wide side of the field, the short side of the field, from where they snapped the football, right over in front of the Hound Dog sideline, right in front of the bench, and he just pops out of there. I mean, it looked like he was going to be run out of bounds. He was able to hit the brakes, and then down the Hound Dog sideline he went. Great speed, and another big play by this Wildcat offense.
66-yard touchdown run for Bodie Rose, his first rushing touchdown of the season. Littlefield now with the extra point, and the kick is up and good. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. For auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance, see the folks at Willis Insurance on the square in Cassville or in Shell Knob in the Bridgeway Plaza. Stop by and get a quote today. The Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by the Barbecue Station. Drop in and get the Marple Bowl. It's a legend at the Barbecue Station, 900 Main in Cassville. Phone 847-0470. So that's 5 for 5 now after the opening possession resulted in a punt. 5 possessions in a row. Cassville has found the end zone and they lead it 35-7. 6 minutes left to go before halftime.
Last 4 touchdowns, the Wildcats have scored 67 yards, 55 yards, 55 yards, and 66 yards. Wow, that's impressive.
Big play after big play, and they've been doing it with bursts of speed. It looks like, as you said, just on that one, another one, it looks like they're bottled up along the sidelines, and the ball carrier able to tiptoe through a little narrow opening, and boy, once they get into the clear, it's like kicking the afterburners, and they're gone.
Just he outran the angles, and once he got behind the secondary, nobody was going to catch him. Just another big play offensively.
Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash, and the kickoff from Littlefield drives the return man all the way back to the 2-yard line. He's going to bring it out from there as Nate Irvin tiptoes his way around the 25 across and into the Cassville bench, and we've got a flag way back out in midfield. And that's in an unusual spot on a kickoff, but I think something a little chippy may have been happening over there, but a nice return by Irvin. He started out on the left hash, back around the 5, brought it all the way across the field, got to the Cassville sidelines, and was knocked out of bounds between the 25 and 30, but the flag is going to bring back a lot of that return.
They're holding.
As another holding call against the Hound Dogs.
Yeah, way away from the action. And it's just right out in the middle of the field, right about the W. The Hound Dog just grabbed one of the Wildcats and just pulled him to the ground and just kind of rolled him. And the official standing right there, he couldn't do anything but throw the flag.
So 1st and 10 Aurora at their own 16-yard line. Wildcats lead it 35-7. 5:49 left to go before halftime. Cassville stays with the 4-man front. Kelton Brown from the shotgun. Rolls to his right. Now he tucks it under his wing and is going to run. Flag comes out. Brown goes out to the 20, falls to the 21, and a flag in the Hound Dog backfield. And this is again in a bad spot if you're a Hound Dog fan. And it's another holding call against Aurora.
Hound Dogs are getting frustrated right here. You're starting to see some jawing going on post play.
Flag thrown at the 15, so it'll back it up to the 5. Tonight's game brought to you in part by MedicareDoneRight.net. Eric Seifert, your local trusted licensed insurance agent for Medicare health insurance plans. Find out more by going to MedicareDoneRight.net. So the Hound Dogs digging himself a hole back at their own 5-yard line, facing 1st and 20. Kelton Brown fakes the handoff, going to run it himself as he pulled it out of the belly of Prater. And dives out to the 8, and another flag coming out after the play. And yeah, you're exactly right. Tempers are starting to boil over a little bit here, and the coaches and the officials are going to have to get this one back under control.
Yeah, you just gotta use your head out there.
That one goes against Cassville, as there was a little pushing and shoving going on the opposite side of the field, and then it erupted into a little back and forth with the jawing, and Cassville draws a penalty flag.
You just can't, when you're a senior, you can't get baited like that, Sammy. I mean, everyone wants to run their mouth, but, just keep your mouth shut and play football. You're up 35-7, man.
And Coach Clay Weldy has that young man at the sidelines right now and is telling him just that. So it moves the ball all the way out to the 23. And the Hound Dog's going to run the ball right up the middle. Cassville's defense collapses on the ball carrier, but he is able to plunge ahead out to about the 27-yard line.
Yeah, those are so frustrating because what you essentially do, you give a team life. Got them against the ropes, got them backed up, and then you got something to say to somebody. Next thing you know, you're giving them 15 yards. That's frustrating, man.
So 4 yards on the carry. The Hound Dogs with the ball at their own 27. Brown tries to hand the ball off to Prater, and it bounces off of his hip, and good job by Jax Prater to spin around and fall on that loose football to avoid the turnover.
Hound Dogs just look a little out of sync right here. And that play, running back like he was not expecting to get that football whatsoever. Fortunately, he hit the brakes, fell on it.
So 2nd down and 13 now after the loss back to the 24. We're down to 4:40 left to play here before halftime. Cassville leading 35-7. Brown gives it to Prater this time. Prater looking for a block. Moves across the 25 to the 26, but gains only 2 yards, and it'll bring up 3rd down and about 11.
And we still want to talk out there. Weldy's, I mean, Coach Weldy is all over some of his players right now that are just having a hard time going back to the defensive huddle.
So 3rd down facing the Hound Dogs. 3rd down and 11. Twin receivers right and left. Man comes in motion. That's Prater. Sets up in the backfield. Now we got whistles and a flag on the far side of the field. Play clock was still at 8, so we're okay there. And it's going to be a procedure penalty. Somebody moved, and the Hound Dogs will be backed up 5 yards.
This game needs to get to halftime in a hurry, Sammy. These teams need to get in the locker room and get a drink. I guess you could.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good assessment there.
Get a drink of water and calm down a little bit and get ready to play some football.
That's already 7 penalties against the Hound Dogs here in the first half. Still got 3:30 and counting left to go before the break. Cassville leading 35-7. Brown with time to throw. Launches one down the middle. He's got Floyd open, and it goes through his hands. Incomplete. Well, that time, Kelton Brown put the ball right into the hands of his receiver, and Floyd, I don't know whether he was looking to run before he tucked it or what, but it goes incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, sometimes it's a game of inches right there, and if that ball, yeah, you're talking an inch, maybe 2 shorter, that's a big, big game for the Hound Dogs. A nice-looking pass out there, a fingertip out of reach.
Yeah, that's a 1st down out at midfield.
Oh, yes.
Gain of nearly 25 yards, but it all goes for naught, and the Hound Dogs forced to punt. DeWitt back in, and guess what? We got another flag. Todd's going to wear that button out on the old web TV tonight if this doesn't stop. A illegal substitution against Aurora. 5 yards. Todd says yes. Our press box official.
It was when Todd was officiating, anyway.
I don't think they'd change that call. That one's probably not been updated. So that will move them back to the 16-yard line. And Hernan Hernandez now standing at midfield awaiting the kick of DeWitt. And it's a low snap this time. The last one nearly bounced. This one does, and DeWitt is hit back at the 7-yard line, and things are going from bad to worse for the Hound Dogs.
Just not able to corral the snap. It hit the ground twice before it got to his hands. And just nowhere to go. Wildcats all over the play. And they're in great position right now to put some more points on the board heading into halftime.
Looks like they spot it down at the 7.
Yeah, the Hound Dogs, they're just out of sorts right now. They're frustrated. They're making mistakes, penalties. They needed to get to halftime too.
Well, the previous snap, DeWitt had to go down and get it, but he scooped it a couple of inches off the grass. That one, like you said, bounced a couple of times before it got to him. Bodie Rose running the sweep, makes a cutback inside the 5 down to the 4, and then he is turtle-backed by a defender, but that defender showing some good sportsmanship helps the Cassville quarterback up, and that was Jack Klein. They got the stop on Bodie Rose, and they spot it down at the 2. We'll call it the 2.
You know, play like that, Sammy, at the tail end. You said he helped the player up. That can go a super long way in a game like that. Can change the mood on the field in a hurry.
So 2nd down and goal. They give the ball to Wilson. Wilson with a couple of blockers leading the way. We still are awaiting the signal, and there it is. Touchdown, Cassville.
Wildcats take advantage of the special teams mishap by the Hound Dogs. 2 plays later into the end zone, 41-7. Looking for that 35-point margin after this PAT.
Wilson, who had 3 touchdowns last week against Hollister, gets his first here tonight. That's the 4th rushing touchdown for Cassville. And now Littlefield in to attempt the extra point. Ewing calls for the ball, sets it on the tee. The kick is up, and it is good. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance in Cassville on the square and in Shell Knob in the Bridgeway Plaza. Call the Cassville office at 847-3300. You can reach them in Shell Knob at 858-3747. Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. And the Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by the Barbecue Station. A great choice of a variety of menu items, all at the Barbecue Station. Get your bib on at the Barbecue Station, 900 Main in Cassville. 42-7. The Wildcats with the lead with 2:36 as I peek around the corner. Left to go here in the second quarter. And now Littlefield set to kick it off once again. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. Clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. Since 2006, they've been providing Cassville and surrounding area with a huge selection of diesel performance products. Find them online at roarkdiesel.com. Dante Floyd looks like back at the 5-yard line, awaiting the kick, a line drive kick, and that was not Floyd, excuse me, that was Nate Irvin. And Irvin brings it in over his head, and right up the middle of the field he goes. He's across the 20, across the 25, nearly gets to the 30 before he is swarmed under. And, I mean, he fielded that line drive kick.
Sure did.
Right up around his helmet, but he was able to hang on to it. Got a pretty decent return. Lost a couple of yards there at the end, trying to go for a couple of extra yards, but still out to the 27.5, 28-yard line.
Yeah, Littlefield kicked the ball. Line drive had a vapor trail behind it. The return man somehow was able to snatch it out of the sky and make a nice return on it.
So 1st and 10 Hound Dogs at their own 28. They bring a man in motion, and that is Prater. Brown going to keep it himself. Hit by Jacobson. Spins off contact out to the 32-yard line. It's a gain of about 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
Wildcat defensive line's doing a nice job of just creating some trash along that offensive line, letting these linebackers stay untouched, keeping those linemen off of them, and letting the linebackers make plays.
Under 2 minutes now left to go before halftime. Cassville leading 42-7. Brown with the back behind him this time. Gives it to Evan Hartwigson. Wixon tried to bounce it to the outside. Cassville turns him back in towards the middle of the field. And Hartwigson falls ahead for a gain of 1. 3rd down and 6. Or excuse me, 3rd down and 5 now facing the Hound Dogs from their own 33.
The Wildcats have done a really nice job on defense, keeping the Hound Dogs in these 3rd and longer situations.
And Aurora still looking for that first 3rd down conversion of the night. Play just now coming in from the sidelines, and the play clock down to 10. They're going to have to hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Game clock down to 1:10 left before halftime. 3rd down and a long 5. Inside handoff goes to Prater. Prater makes a cutback and takes on contact. Powers his way out to the 35-yard line. A strong run that time by Jax Prater, but he's going to come up about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down.
Yeah, going to be a little bit short. Heck of a collision out there at the end of the play. Both players hop up. So we're around 40 seconds until halftime. The Hound Dogs are going to bring the punt unit back on the field.
So DeWitt in to kick it away. Hernandez drops back at his own 40. Cassville coming with a 4-man rush. DeWitt gets a good leg into this one. Takes it down the Hound Dog sideline, and it bounces between the 30 and 35 and goes out of play. We'll see where they spot it. Still walking. Looks like they're going to put it out at the 33. 21 seconds left to go before the break. Cassville leading 42-7.
Wildcats will snap this with 21 seconds to go until half.
34-yard kick, no return. And right now they're in the victory formation. They're just going to take your advice and get to the locker room.
Let's get off the field for a few minutes.
Yes. So Rose takes a knee, and that will be the final play of the first half here in Cassville. So they will wait for those final 10 seconds to run off the clock, and then both teams will head to the locker room. We have reached intermission here at Wildcat Stadium as they head off the field at halftime. Cassville leading over Aurora 42-7. We'll be back with the Shoemaker Tire halftime show after this break. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Role models are more important than ever in today's society. You can serve as a role model for others the next time you display good sportsmanship at a high school athletic event. Good sports are winners and are also vital to preserving our fine sports traditions. So the next time you attend a sporting event, remember to be a good sport and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. This sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. Well, it is time for the Shoemaker Tire Halftime Show. Shoemaker Tire, family-owned and operated in Golden, Missouri. They've been serving customers in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas since 1961. You can find them online at shoemakertire.com or give them a call, 417-271-3490. Cassville leading over Aurora here at halftime, 42-7. The Hound Dogs got on the board first. Just 4 minutes into the game, a 36-yard run by Kelton Brown. The PAT was good, and Aurora was out to the early 7-0 advantage. But then Cassville scored 6 unanswered touchdowns. 5:51 left to go in the first. A 1-yard run by Bryson Jacobson. The PAT by Littlefield knotted the score at 7. Then just 40 seconds later, after a Hound Dog turnover on an interception, Cassville struck from 67 yards out on a pass from Bodie Rose to Trey Wilson. Littlefield kicking the extra point to put the Wildcats up 14-7. Cassville scored early in the second quarter on a 55-yard run from Bryson Jacobson, his second rushing touchdown of the night. Littlefield with another PAT to make it 21-7 Wildcats. 9:42 left to go in the first half. Another 55-yard run, or excuse me, a correction. This was a 55-yard scoring play, but it was on a reverse halfback option pass from Riley Ruark to Garrett Ewing, and it was 28-7 Cassville. Then with 6 minutes left to go before halftime, a 66-yard run from Bodie Rose made it 35-7 after the PAT from Littlefield. And then 2.5 left to go before the break. A 2-yard run by Trey Wilson after a bad snap on a Hound Dog punt attempt gave Cassville the ball inside the 20-yard line. And the Wildcats made that mistake by Aurora Pay as Wilson plunges in. And the extra point by Littlefield gives us our halftime score, 42-7. Cassville with the lead over the Aurora Hound Dogs. Looking at other scores around the Big 8 here in week number 2. They're already in the second half over at East Newton. Hollister leading the Patriots 7-0. Halftime score at Nevada. The Tigers on top of Reed Spring 20-7. Late in the first half, McDonald County has a 14-7 lead at home against Marshfield. At halftime, Lamar on top of Rogersville in a low-scoring game right now. Lamar leading 14-0 over the Wildcats. And that game up in Barton County at Lamar. Late in the first half, Seneca 51-0 over Springfield Catholic. And then again, reminding everyone, the Monette Mount Vernon game got started last night, got postponed by lightning, and they will resume that game tomorrow night at Monette with the Mountaineers leading 7-0 early on in the second quarter. Cassville on top of Aurora, 42-7 here at the break. And Jeremy, the Hound Dog, struck first, but then after that, 6 unanswered touchdowns by the Wildcats. They took advantage of both of the Hound Dog mistakes on the turnover on the interception and then the bad snap deep in their own territory. They had 4 big plays of 50 yards or more, and they lead it by 35 here at the half.
Yeah, the Wildcats have just kind of exploded tonight. I don't know that I certainly didn't expect a score like this at halftime tonight, but the Wildcat offense has been very impressive. And on the flip side, the defense has played exceptionally well. And the Hound Dogs are a little discombobulated. They're frustrated, maybe a little tired from chasing the Wildcats around tonight. But Cassville has just been on point. Outside of the first couple minutes of the game, first drive, 3 and out, and then gave up a touchdown. But since that point, this Wildcat team has been, been dominant tonight.
Yeah, after last week against Hollister, it was kind of the bend but don't break defense. They gave up nearly 500 yards of offense, but they were able to keep Hollister off the scoreboard enough to allow their offense to take advantage, and they get a nice road win. Tonight, the defense is dominating just like the offense is.
Yeah, it's
and they've been feeding off each other.
They really have, and we've seen some frustrations out there here in this first half, and as we said, let's get to halftime and let people cool off a little bit and kind of reset, come out and finish this game. But Cassville, they've been very tough. They haven't had to sustain drives. They're just scoring from a long way out. So it's been fun to watch. Certainly for nice crowd out here tonight and watching this thing. And Wildcats, they've got it rolling right now at halftime.
And you'll see that bear out when we go over the stats from the first half after this next break. The Cassville Marching Band entertaining the crowd here tonight at Wildcat Stadium. Here at halftime, it's brought to you by Shoemaker Tire. Over 50 years of taking care of their customers like no one else. Call Shoemaker Tire at 417-271-3490. People you can trust for tires. Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri. 42-7, Cassville with the lead here at halftime. We'll take a break, let you hear from our sponsors. Back with the first half stats. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back with you here at Cassville. Todd Speakman alongside, running the camera for us on CassvilleWebTV.com. And your broadcast crew is brought to you by Les Jacobs Ford in Cassville. Stop by Les Jacobs Ford. Check out their inventory. You can find them online at LesJacobsFord.com. They've got factory-certified technicians to take care of your vehicle. And remember, you can trust Les Jacobs Ford. Go Wildcats! Everyone at Les Jacobs Ford says thank you to all their friends and customers in Southwest Missouri for over 25 years of wonderful business. Halftime show brought to you by Shoemaker Tire. They've been a name you can count on for tires since 1961. Mark and the gang will have you up and running when you need a new set of tires in no time flat, or just when you have no time for a flat. Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri. Looking at some of the team numbers from the first half, the Aurora Hound Dogs, 20 carries for 92 yards. They were 0 of 7 passing for less than 100 yards of offense in the first half. They picked up 3 first downs. They turned it over once on an interception. Hound Dogs penalized 8 times for 65 yards, and they punted 4 times for a 37.5-yard average. Cassville Wildcats, 16 carries for 207 yards. They completed 3 of 5 passes for 134 yards for a total of 341 yards of offense here in the first half. But only 8 first downs, and that's kind of the oddity there, but they had so many big plays that the first downs were limited, even though they have over 340 yards of offense. Cassville did not turn the ball over. They were penalized 4 times for 45 yards, and they did not punt the ball in the first half. The Wildcats lead at 42-7 here at the break. Looking at some of the individual numbers, the Hound Dogs were led by Kelton Brown. Excuse me, he led them a week ago in rushing, and he's leading them there in the first half in rushing. Brown with 6 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Evan Hartwickson with 22 yards on 7 carries. Leading ball carrier for the Cassville Wildcats, Bodie Rose, 4 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. Bryson Jacobson, 5 carries for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Trey Wilson, 61 yards on 7 carries and a touchdown. Garrett Ewing has 2 catches for 67 yards and a score. And Wilson also has a catch for 67 yards and a touchdown. So Trey Wilson over 120 yards of total offense in the first half. And the Wildcats with the 35-point lead here at the break. And that is another thing that the second half will start with a running clock. With one team ahead by 35 points or more in the second half, we will have the running clock. The only time it stops is for team timeouts, official timeouts, or injuries, but the normal stuff that stops clocks, running out of bounds, incomplete passes, things like that, clock just continues to run, and it can shorten a game in a hurry. So the Hound Dogs will have to try to put points on the board in the second half, or we could have a quick third and fourth quarter here at Wildcat Stadium. Wildcats are back out of the locker room going through their warm-ups. We still have several minutes before we start the second half with the extended halftime. And here at the break, Cassville leading 42-7 over the Aurora Hound Dogs. We'll step aside, listen to our sponsors once again, and be back with more of the Shoemaker Tire Halftime Show right after this. You're listening to Wildcat Football here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back with you here at Cassville. That's going to wrap up tonight's halftime show. It's brought to you by Shoemaker Tire, with over 50 years of taking care of their customers like no one else. Shoemaker Tire in Golden, Missouri. Find them online at shoemakertire.com or give them a call, 271-3490. Tonight's Wildcat broadcast team brought to you by Les Jacobs Ford. They're located at the junctions of 76, 86, and 37 in Cassville. You can find them online at lesjacobsford.com. They're your choice for genuine Ford service and parts at very affordable rates. They are your go-to shop for auto repair. Les Jacobs Ford in Cassville. And if you're listening on the Apple or Google phone apps, they are courtesy of White Funeral Home and Crematory in Cassville. They're always there to help. White Funeral Home of Cassville. Well, the Hound Dogs will get the football to start the second half. Cassville leading 42-7 as we get set to start the third quarter. We got a new Wildcat kicker, as that is, well, we'll get a name here in just a minute. And it's a short kick fielded at the 15-yard line, brought up by Prater. Prater makes a cutback, gets to the sidelines, and now he's got an angle. He's out across the 40, across the 45, breaks a tackle across midfield into Cassville territory. A big return from Jax Prater has the Hound Dogs set up at the Wildcat. Looks like they're going to say he stepped on the sidelines at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, Prater, great burst of speed heading down that sideline. Finished off the run very powerfully.
So the Hound Dogs starting in Cassville territory on their first possession of the second half. Wildcats lead at 42-7. That means we've got the running clock unless the Wildcats allow the Hound Dogs to score here. Kelton Brown, with everyone set in tight, gets the snap, pitches it back. And the ball carrier is Prater, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage by 4 black shirts and drops for only a gain of about a half a yard.
Well, head of steam right there. Bryson Jacobson met him head on right at the line of scrimmage. Great job right there, open field tackling. You can't draw it up any better than that.
So second down and long now facing the Hound Dogs. They'll send twin receivers out to the left. They've got Hartwickson behind Kelton Brown in the backfield, and they give the ball to Evan Hartwickson. Starts to bounce it outside, makes a cutback at the hash, and is tripped up at the 46 after a gain of only 1.
A really nice job there. Looked like Ruark did a great job of coming upfield and forcing the ball carrier back to the teeth of the defense. Sometimes it's not, you don't have to make the play to make the play, if you know what I mean.
So third down and 8 facing the Hound Dogs. They were 0 for 7 on third down conversion tries back in the first half, and facing another third down and long. Brown all alone in the Hound Dog backfield. Receivers right and left as they spread the field. From the shotgun, Brown with time to throw. Steps up and launches one down the middle of the field. He's got a couple of men back there. It's tipped and nearly goes into the hands of a receiver that wasn't even intended to be thrown to, and that was Dante Floyd. The ball deflected off of one of the Hound Dog players, hit a Cassville player, and nearly went right into the hands of Floyd, but it falls incomplete, and it'll bring up fourth down.
I think that was Jared Reynolds. They got his hands on the football to knock it away.
Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company, where with over 15 years of experience, they specialize in new, used, and custom-built pallets. They're backing the Wildcats all the way. In God we trust at J&M Pallet Company. Phone 847-6732. Alex DeWitt boots this one high and short, but it takes a nice Hound Dog bounce inside the 25 down to the 20.
Yeah, angling the punt away from Hernandez back there. Just looked like a little pooch kick up there. Got a nice roll, rolled about 7 yards. Ultimately stopped, as you said, at the 20-yard line. Just the nose of the football on the 20.
So it ends up being a 26-yard kick. No return. First and 10 Wildcats at their own 20. 3 minutes already gone here in the second half with the running clock. Sometimes you don't really realize with that running clock how quickly things slip away on you, and we're already inside 9 minutes left to go in quarter number 3. Bodie Rose taking his time up under center. Takes the play clock down to 5 seconds, takes the snap, gives it off to the second man, and that is Wilson. And Wilson powers his way, or no, excuse me, that was not Wilson, that was Jacobson. Jacobson around the left end and takes it out to the 23 for a pickup of nearly 3 yards. Going to bring up second down and long.
A little misdirection of Jacobson right there. Jacobson, the bigger of the two Wildcat running backs out there. But both of the running backs run extremely hard.
Starting to see some new faces come in from the sidelines. Frank Osborne brings a play in, and he will line up as a wideout. Hernan Hernandez, the man split wide to the other side of the field. Bodie Rose gives it up the middle, a big hole, and Wilson blasts his way out to the 30-yard line. As a good job by the interior line of the Wildcats, opened up a nice lane for Wilson to run through, and he picks up a first down. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. You can find them online at superiormetalsalesinc.com.
I'll tell you what, Wilson, he exploded right through the hole on that offensive line. Gets there very quickly, picking up that first down. Just straight ahead, straight downhill, boom.
So 1st and 10, Cassville. Clock continues to roll, down to 7:20 left to go here in the third quarter. Split backfield again for the Wildcats. Hound Dogs showing blitz up the middle. Here they come. Rose gets the handoff, but a lot of congestion in the middle there with the Hound Dogs trying to bottle up some of those interior gaps. Jacobson takes it out to the 32 for a pickup of 2, and it'll bring up second down and 8.
Yeah, at some point when those linebackers creep up, there's just too many people up there to block. Somebody's going to be unblocked, and there's only so many bodies on that offensive line.
Again, tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. They repair used pallets, build and design new and custom pallets. During this game and the games to come, Jeff reminds team members that through God, all things are possible. Phone J&M Pallet Company, 847-6732. That's 847-6732. Second down and 8. Wildcats again very patiently, letting time tick away. Jacobson gets the call, and he goes nowhere this time as 2 Hound Dog defenders meet him right at the line of scrimmage. He gets forward progress maybe of a half a yard, and it'll bring up third down and 7.
Wildcats taking their time now, breaking huddle, letting plays come in from the sideline.
So Cassville 0 for 3 on third down conversion tries in the first half. Facing their first one here in the second half. They've already taken 6 minutes of the third quarter away, thanks in part to the running clock with Cassville leading by 35. Taking the play clock all the way down to 3. Rose looks to throw, and he overthrows Hernan Hernandez. And that will bring up fourth down.
Yeah, almost like some miscommunication there between Hernandez and Rose, the quarterback. Hernandez ran kind of an in route, and Rose was throwing it more towards the sideline. So those two are going to get together. And doesn't matter. It's fourth down, and Wildcats are going to punt the football.
And it's the first punt of the night for Cassville. Hernan Hernandez, the punter, an all-conference punter a year ago. He will boot it away with Wildcats facing fourth down and 7 at their own 33. And it will be Hartwickson back at his own 30 awaiting the kick. Now we got whistles prior to the snap. Clock still running. And we got a timeout. So that will stop the clock as the Hound Dogs want to talk things over. They need some points on the board to get this clock back into normal operations, so they want to make sure everyone's focused on what's going on right now with this Cassville punt. The timeout on the field is brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. It's time to think about your bank. Any bank can cash checks, accept deposits, and make loans, but the distinguishing factor between banks is the level of service to the customer. Whether it's a loan decision or the processing of your bank statement, all the decisions and services of the Security Bank are generated by the local bank staff in a prompt, fair, and professional manner. Security Bank, member FDIC. Tonight's game also brought to you in part by MedicareDoneRight.net. Eric Seifert is your local, trusted, licensed insurance agent for Medicare health insurance plans. Find out more by going to MedicareDoneRight.net. Hernandez back at his own 20, and Hartwickson at his own 30 awaiting the kick. Clock is back rolling now with the kick, a good high kick. Hartwickson fields it at his own 33, makes one man miss across the 35, makes another man miss, he's across the 40, and a burst of speed across the 45, and he's out near midfield.
Wildcats right there to make the play. And Hartwickson he caught the football and he just ducked. All he did was duck, and the Wildcat defender went right by him. And a 20-yard return is the result. Scary play. I mean, that could have been bad. Wildcat defender was racing down the field. He caught the football, and all he did was duck, Sammy. Didn't take a step. He ducked, and that's all it took.
Ends up being a 36-yard kick, but a nearly 17-yard return out to the 50-yard line, and now they've got it set back at the 48. So they originally spotted it down just short of the 50, and now they back it up a couple of yards. So we'll change that on the stat sheet. It'll be 1st and 10 Hound Dogs, 52 yards away. 4.5 left to go here in the third quarter. Again, tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company, where pallets are customized to fit your needs. Their motto is "In God We Trust" at J&M Pallet Company. Jeff and avid Wildcat supporters, just call away, 847-6732. 1st and 10 Aurora. Twin receivers right and left. Brown throws out into the flat. The catch is made on the Cassville side by Irvin. Irvin still on his feet, fighting for extra yardage, takes it inside the Wildcat 45, down to the 43. Comes up just a little shy. They spot it down actually at the 42, and that will be a first down. So originally it looked like he was at the 43, which is about a half a yard short. But they give the Hound Dogs the first down, their 4th of the night.
Yeah, good throw, good catch. Wildcat defender right there to make a play, unable to bring the ball carrier down. First down as a result. Seeing some new faces on the defensive side of the football right now as well.
That's a gain of 10, first down Hound Dogs, and now Irvin gets the call coming out of the backfield, and he slips in his knee touchdown. And that's the first time we've seen a player actually slip due to the playing conditions. With all the rain we've had since yesterday, this field has held up extremely well. That's the first time I've actually seen somebody slip.
That and the fact that we've made some comments about the quality cuts that we've seen out of some of these ball carriers. So yeah, you're right. That's the first time we've seen a slip out there.
And that is a loss of 3 back to the 45-yard line. First carry of the night for Nate Irvin. So it brings up 2nd down and 13. Brown wanted to hand the ball off, but no running back was there. Now he's going to have to take it himself, and around the left end he goes. Dives back down to the 43, which is about where the Hound Dogs drive started, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, made something out of nothing right there again. Wildcat defender had a hand around the waist of the quarterback, Brown, but he was able to shake the arm tackle and pick up some positive yardage right there.
Boy, and that's got to be a feeling that you don't want to have to experience as you turn around to hand the ball and there's nobody there to give it to.
Nobody home, yeah. It happens.
The running back had went the other direction, so 3rd down and 10. Good snap back to Brown. He's got time to throw. Launches one down the field into heavy traffic. It's underthrown, batted up into the air. It's caught by Jax Prater on the deflection, and he takes it in for the touchdown.
Wow. Just an athlete making a play right there. The ball was up for grabs at the end of it. Jax comes down with it and into the end zone. Touchdown. Again, just a jump ball situation. Athletes down there, athletes make plays, and Prater just made one.
A 43-yard touchdown pass from Kelton Brown to Jax Prater. And the Hound Dogs score their first touchdown since their opening possession of the night. And that will get the game clock, back to normal operation as we're back under 35. Now they'll try to add on the extra point. And the left-footed kicker, Armando Alvarez, kicks it up. And good. So it's now 42-14 with 2.5 left to go here in the third quarter. The ball was just a hair underthrown. There were 2 receivers back there, and I couldn't tell exactly which one the ball was directed to. And the Cassville defender saw that the ball was underthrown, cut underneath the Hound Dog receiver, and then it was a battle between the 2. The ball got tipped up into the air, and Jax Prater, Johnny on the spot, gathered it in about the 2-yard line and walked into the end zone.
Well, big play for the Hound Dogs there, and that will take the running clock away.
And that was their first third down conversion of the night as well. Kelton Brown showing a strong arm there as he launched that from about the 45 all the way down inside the 5-yard line. Good 40, 45 yards in the air. And it's 42-14 now. The Wildcats with the lead. And the Hound Dogs set to kick it away.
And another touchdown. We've got touchdowns, I'm combining both, from 36, 67, 55, 55, 66, and now from 43.
Got the big play night going on.
I tell you what, they are coming from anywhere on the field tonight.
And now everyone on the front line's got to be ready for the squib kick, and there it is. And diving on the football, it looked like a Wildcat player got there, but was he able to keep possession of the football as a ton of Hound Dog players came busting right down the middle of the field and dove on top of him, but it looks like he was able to hang on. And coming up off the bottom of the pile with the football for the Wildcats was Hunter Morse, a sophomore.
Great job. And I tell you what, you know they're coming. And you know, he knows all of those guys are coming right at him. And to hustle in there, get a hold of that football, and then you just got to brace because the avalanche is coming on your back here.
So the Wildcats take over, 1st and 10 at their own 43 with 2:37 left to go here in the third. Receivers right and left split backfield behind Rose. Rose gives it off to Wilson. Wilson busts one around the right end, takes it across the 45 out to the 46, maybe the 47-yard line. And they are going to give him the 47 for a pickup of about 4.5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6. Wilson now 9 carries for 73 yards on the night.
Wilson's runs the football very hard. Got some good blocking on the right side of the offensive line right there, but he just gets right in there, and those legs don't stop moving.
So with the running game going right now for Cassville, that'll keep the clock moving somewhat here in the final 2 minutes of quarter number 3. Wildcats leading 42-14. Rose gives it to Wilson again, trying to get a block from Jacobson. There he gets it, makes a cutback, and slips across the 50-yard line and picks up a Wildcat first down. All the way down to the Aurora 46. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. You can check them out on Facebook or YouTube and then call for a free quote at 888-364-9527.
And you see the other side of the way Wilson carried the football tonight. Not only can he fly through that line of scrimmage this time, working right, heading right towards that Hound Dog sideline. He just ran patiently, had his hand kind of out on the back of his lead blocker, just waiting for that block to set up, and then boom, he's gone.
So 1st and 10 from the Hound Dog 46. Rose gives it to Wilson. Somebody grabbed a handful of jersey, jerked him back, and then he broke that tackle, but then it slowed him down enough that 2 more Hound Dog defenders were able to swarm him down for no gain on the play. For a minute there, it looked like he was going to break away from that initial contact and pick up some positive yardage, but the yank of the jersey proved to be the end of the play, and it's 2nd down and 10.
Well, that's the downside of being a 155-pound running back when you've got 260-pound defensive tackles on the other side, grabbing a hold of your jersey, grabbing anything they can get.
You know, suddenly the anchor got dropped, didn't it?
Right.
So 2nd down and 10. Rose gives it to Wilson again, bounces to the outside, turns the corner, takes on contact, and rumbles his way down to the 40-yard line. Good hard run by Trey Wilson. Picks up about 7 or 8 yards, maybe. Well, it looks like they're going to say his knee went down. I thought they got him inside the 40, but they're going to put it at the 40 for a pickup of 6.
Yeah, another nice run, bouncing off tackles, stretching that play towards the sideline, working his way constantly down the field. Broke a couple of tackles there, spun out of the last tackle at the end of the play.
Down to the final 5 seconds of the third quarter, and Cassville will take it to the 4th. Third quarter comes to a close. Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. They repair used pallets, build and design new and custom pallets. Call Jeff and all the folks at J&M Pallet Company at 847-6732. 42-14, Cassville on top of Aurora as we head to the 4th. We'll be back after this break. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Final 12 minutes on the clock. Cassville leading 42-14 as we head to the fourth quarter. Tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by First State Bank in Cassville. Over 26 years ago, First State Bank came to Main Street on Cassville to help their friends and neighbors reach their financial goals. Wildcat football at the Aurora 40-yard line, facing 3rd down and 4.5 yards to go. They bunch everyone in tight, and now the ball comes free on a miscommunication between quarterback and running back. And that was Jared Reynolds getting his first carry of the night. The ball came loose, but he picked it back up. Fell back at the 40-yard line, no gain on the play, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, you see that sometimes when backs are coming off the sideline. They haven't really carried. Reynolds has been playing on the defensive side, so he's not, he's warm. But when you're not in that offensive rhythm, sometimes you see plays just like that.
The clock continues to roll, so Cassville going to take some time off here, letting the play clock wind down. 10 seconds and counting, facing 4th down and 4. And the Wildcats up to the line of scrimmage. So they're going to go for it here at the 40-yard line, see if they can pick up a first down. Hound Dogs stiffen defensively and take the ball carrier Reynolds out of play into the Cassville sidelines, and Cassville turns it over on downs, and Aurora's going to get the ball back.
Great job there by the Hound Dogs in pursuit. They put a shot on Reynolds at the end of that play to get the football back to their offense.
So they will take over with 11 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter at their own 40. Cassville leading 42-14. Cassville, after scoring 6 unanswered touchdowns in the first half, here in the second half, their 2 possessions have resulted in a punt and a turnover on downs. And whistles sound before the snap of the football. And Cassville wants a timeout because the Hound Dogs came out in a totally new look. They went completely unbalanced to the right, and it was kind of a staggered, angled off offensive line, and they want to talk about this.
Yeah, the Wildcats were running players off the sideline onto the field. They're changing personnel up, and just didn't have everybody on the field.
So with the timeout, it's brought to you by Security Bank of Exeter, Wheaton, and Cassville. Everyone has debit cards, ATMs, and mobile banking, but at Security Bank, you sit across from a neighbor and a decision maker. Security Bank with all the newest banking features and the same hometown service. Security Bank of Cassville, Wheaton, and Exeter, member FDIC. .11:06 left to go, fourth quarter. 42-14, Cassville with the lead. Tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by First State Bank. First State Bank in Cassville. Convert an opportunity into a reality at First State Bank in Cassville. Hound Dog football, 1st and 10 at their own 40. Brown gets the snap, rolls to his right. He's got a man wide open as he got free in the secondary, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Evan Hartwigson. He was 10 yards behind everybody, and Brown threw it over his head. And he is not happy with himself right now, but you see a couple of his offensive linemen going over and patting him on the helmet and say, hey, it's all right. But that was good for 6. And quarterback and receiver couldn't make the connection.
And some of these backup defensive backs that are in the game right now are breathing a sigh of relief right now because they watched that happen right in front of them. Welcome to Friday Night Football.
Twin receivers right, single man to the left. Running back with Brown, and that is Hartwigson, I believe. Or was it Prater? Nope, it was Jax Prater. Prater pounds his way out to the 46-yard line, is able to pick up 6 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Another 3rd down for the Hound Dogs tonight. I don't know how many 3rd downs they've had this evening.
This is the 10th,
yeah,
and they've converted only 1. They've also converted a 4th down. That was back in the first half. So 3rd and 4 from the Hound Dog 46. 10:20 and counting left to go in the football game. Brown from the shotgun sets his receiver out right, brings Prater in motion, fakes the handoff to him, runs it up the middle. He's got a room, and he's got the first down across midfield. down to the Cassville 47-yard line, and the chains will move for the Hound Dogs.
Brought down at the end of that play by Ethan Morgan. Defensive tackle.
Brown unofficially 71 yards on 8 carries now. Has the ball across midfield into Wildcat territory with 9:56 left to play here in the football game. Cassville leading 42-14. Wildcats quickly back up on the line. Hound Dogs do the same from the offensive side. They picked up a couple of first downs on this drive. Brown looking to throw. He's got plenty of time, and he launches another one down the middle of the field. Again, it's a bit underthrown, and this one tipped away. Good defense back there by Cassville, as it was 2 defenders and 2 receivers. Garrett Ewing back there, and I'm trying to get the number of the other player. It looks like that was Josh Olson, and they break it up, and it'll bring up second down.
Yeah, long pass plays. This time the secondary doing a nice job of staying as deep as the deepest receiver and just able to go up and knock the football away.
And I correct myself, that was not Ewing, that was a freshman, Colton Roark. So a whole new defensive unit out there right now for Cassville, getting some Friday Night Light varsity experience here in the fourth quarter. Second down and 10 for the Hound Dogs. Brown going to run the football. Got a couple of blockers in front. Starts right, goes back left, breaks a tackle inside the 40, down to the 38. And that'll be close to another Aurora first down. We'll see where they spot the football. They put it down at the 38-yard line, and it's just shy of the first down.
Joseph Burton, Jared Reynolds in on the tackle there.
It's a gain of 9, and it looks like it's close enough we're going to have a measurement. Hey, that's our first measurement of 2022, which gives us the opportunity to remind you that the first down measurement is brought to you by MedicareDoneRight.net. Eric Seifert, your local trusted licensed insurance agent for Medicare health insurance fans. Find out more at MedicareDoneRight.net. And they stretch them out, and they come up about 1.5 feet short. 9:23 left to go, fourth quarter. Cassville on top, 42-14. Other scores around the Big 8. Fourth quarter score, 7-7 now. Hollister and East Newton. That game over in East Newton County, just south of Granby. Nevada on top of Reed Spring, 20-7 was the last score we had. McDonald County leading Marshfield 21-7. Lamar in a dogfight with Rogersville. It's 21-0. Lamar with the lead, but that score is surprising a few folks, I'm sure, around the Big 8 after Rogersville had a tough game in week 1 against East Newton. Catholic being blown out by Seneca, 57-0. So 3rd and 1. They give the ball to Prater. Prater breaks a tackle and then is going to be swarmed down. And this is going to depend on where that knee touched down. And right now it looks like he lost about 0.5 yard. So the Wildcat defense holds, and it'll bring up 4th down.
A really nice job of young Wildcats out there. Look like Tristan Thompson, freshman linebacker, spinning the ball carrier to the ground.
So it was 3rd down and less than 1 yard, and Cassville holds, and now it's 4th down and 1. Trailing 42-14, the Hound Dogs have to go for it here. And they give the ball to Prater. Prater gets around the edge, has the first down as he takes it down to the 36-yard line.
It's a little too much speed right there by Prater. Got just enough for that first down. As he came in motion from left to right, took the handoff at full speed, was able to get around that right edge and pick it up by about 1 yard.
So 1st and 10 Hound Dogs at the Cassville 36. But time starting to become a factor. Down to 8 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Cassville on top 42-14. Hound Dogs up to the line of scrimmage. Play clock down to 5 seconds. Prater comes in motion. Sets. And we got a new quarterback, and they hand the ball off to Prater, and he is hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped. The new quarterback was Thomas Lara, a freshman. He gives it to Prater, And Prater is going to lose a yard back to the 37.
And freshman Tristan Thompson, linebacker on the defense, in the backfield to make the play. Looks like a couple of freshmen I see out there. 71 defensive line, Ethan Sizemore. Thompson out there, a couple in the secondary. You called Roark already.
So 2nd down and 11. Lara, the freshman, remains at quarterback for the Hound Dogs here in the 4th quarter. Gives the ball to Irvin. Irvin bounces off of one man, keeps his feet, and plunges ahead to the 35 and picks up 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, both sides right now are getting a chance to put some young guys on the field, and we talk about it quite a bit. The experience playing on Friday night, it's just different than Monday night, Tuesday night. Get out here in front of a big home crowd. It's just a different atmosphere.
So 3rd down and 9 now facing the Hound Dogs at the Cassville 35. 6.5 left to go in the 4th quarter. Cassville on top 42-14. And it looks like Kelton Brown is back in at quarterback now. On 3rd, nope, that is still Lara. So the jersey just got dirty enough. I thought when he first came out there it was shiny white, but he did get knocked to the ground a while ago, and it doesn't take long. And the pass down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down.
A good pursuit there, linebacker Hunter Morse.
So 4th down, and we'll call it 7. Play taking a little time coming in from the sidelines. Play clock is already down to 5 seconds. Hound Dog's going to have to hurry to avoid the delay of game. They run up to the line of scrimmage. They get the snap right as the clock. Nope, they didn't. I just started to say I looked up and I just saw it go from 1 to 0. But the side judge says timeout called by the Hound Dogs.
Timeout from the sideline.
I think they got the snap off in time, but they didn't want to chance it, and they get the timeout called. So the stoppage will give us the opportunity to tell you that timeout brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Do you want mobile banking, ATMs, multiple branches, and all types of loans, and still be able to go into the lobby and see your personal banker? You just described Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Take time out to look at Security Bank, member FDIC. Your Wildcat broadcast team brought to you by Les Jacobs Ford, your choice for genuine Ford service and parts. Your hometown dealership with hometown roots, proud to be giving back to the community. They say thank you to all of their friends and customers in Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas. Les Jacobs Ford, online at lesjacobsford.com. 4th down and 6.5 or so to go, almost 7. And Lara, unbalanced right, has time, launches it over the head of the intended receiver, and it's intercepted by the Wildcats' Josh Olson. And Olson is trying to outrun the Aurora player, and he will not, as run down from behind at the 10. But a big pick by Olson. He's caught by Rios before he can get to the end zone. But the Wildcats with another interception. We do have a flag back at the 45, and we also have an injured Hound Dog player at the 45. But the ball floated a little bit on Lara, and Olson read it perfectly and got the interception.
And everybody is coming back right now. Look like something probably on the return. Officials are bringing all the players back at least toward midfield. But Olson just had his eyes in the right spot. He was positioned in the right spot, broke on the football, made the play, off to the races. But the penalty well behind the play. Looks like it's going to bring a long return back. Nonetheless.
The injured Hound Dog is on his feet now. And that was Ethan Hoosman. So he'll head off to the sidelines under his own power, which is a good sign. Flag thrown right at the Hound Dog 45, where the penalty occurred. Now the officials will get together, talk things over. It's going to go against the Wildcats. So he gets a little over a third, but not quite half of his return on the interception. But then the penalty will take off even more of that, because the penalty happened about the midway point of his return. It'll move it back to the Wildcat 40. So the turnover stands, but the Wildcats backed up 15 yards. 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
5:22 left in this game. And another mass substitution by the Wildcats. This time, players on the field and off the field. I think they're going to take an official water break once again.
Yeah, we haven't taken our stoppage here in the 4th quarter, so they're going to allow the players to hydrate one more time. With 5:22 left to play, Cassville leading 42-14. Hound Dogs have put the only points on the board here in the second half. That coming on their second possession of the second half. And their most recent possession resulted in an interception. The second interception thrown tonight, one by Kelton Brown and one by the freshman, Thomas Lara. So as the players hydrate one more time, as we get ready for the final 5 minutes, the Wildcats leading 42-14. Cassville at home again next Friday as they host Seneca. And Seneca leading over Springfield Catholic 57-0. So if both scores hold up, it'll be a battle of 2-0 teams to open up the 2022 schedule in week number 3. The Hound Dogs will be going up against their rival from longtime Big 8 history and still in the same division of the Big 8 East. It's the Bell Bowl next week, the Mount Vernon Mountaineers, and that opens up Big 8 East play for them.
That one has been going on for a long time.
1st and 10 Cassville, new quarterback for the Wildcats, a lot of new faces there running the football. The Wildcats take it off left tackle and a short gain. Quarterback. Was that Joseph Burton?
Yes. Junior.
So it's a loss of 1, back to the 39. Apologize, didn't see the ball carrier on that one. Trying to catch up with the new names and numbers in right now. Split backfield behind Burton. And the handoff goes around the right side this time, and carrying the ball is Hunter Morse. And Morse out across the 40 to the 43 as he's able to pick up 4 yards.
Well, nice lead blocking out in front there. Morse made a nice cut to get downfield, get in behind those blockers.
So 3rd down and 7.5 to go. We're down to 4 minutes left to go here in the 4th quarter. Cassville on top 42-14. Split backfield once again behind Joseph Burton. And they give the ball to Morse, and he is hit behind the line of scrimmage, going to be dropped for a loss.
Yeah, not much room to work there, trying to go off right edge. Hound Dog defensive line making a play there.
It's a loss of 1, and it'll bring up 4th down and 8.5. And they're checking to the sidelines to see what the coaching staff wants to do, and the Wildcats are going to punt it away with the ball on their side of the 50. Clock continuing to roll with 3:15 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Hernan Hernandez has only had to punt 1 time tonight. This will be his 2nd kick of the evening. And Clayton Jaramillo will be back for the Hound Dogs. He fields it back at the 22 off of the hop, and then he is swarmed under by a couple of Cassville return men. And guess what? We got another flag. We've had enough of those tonight. And the flag thrown back at the 22, 23-yard line, which is where the tackle was made.
And another holding against the Hound Dogs. Good coverage once again by the Wildcat punt group. And it looked like, again, Riley Ruart has seemed to be in on most of the special teams plays, tackles tonight. He was leading the way right there. At least he's the one you notice coming off the bottom of that pile.
So that'll move the ball back to the 13-yard line. Hound Dog football with just under 3 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. And for all the fireworks and touchdowns in the first half, this second half is suddenly kind of ground to a halt.
Slowed down quite a bit. But you're seeing a lot of new faces, a lot of guys getting experience, getting snaps under their belt.
Both sides of the football, both coaches trying to give
Exactly.
some young new players. And now the Hound Dogs trying to run in of players. They only had 10. They get him in there just in time. He sets up as a receiver. And Lara going to run the football on the quarterback keeper out across the 20 to the 24. A good gain there as he picks up 9 yards, or actually picked up 11 yards, I believe, and a first down.
A tackle that time. Safety, Dakota Bowen, coming in, getting into the wheels of the ball carrier and bringing him down. Bowen, 5 foot, 85 pounds out there at safety tonight.
So that will bring a first down for the Hound Dogs at their own 24 with 2.5 left to play, and the Wildcats leading 42-14. Lara directs traffic in the backfield, brings a man in motion. That is Brody Seitz, sophomore. Seitz gets the call, and Cassville defense, not correction, that was Lara. He pulled it back and kept it himself after the fake to Seitz. And he loses, I don't know, they give him a pretty generous spot. I started to say he lost a little bit of yardage, but it looks like they're going to spot him down at the 27, so he picks up a couple. Second down and long facing the Hound Dogs. Man comes in motion. This time he does hand the ball off, this time to Clayton Jaramillo. And around the right end he goes. He's another sophomore. And moves ahead to the 30 for a pickup of 3.
Jaramillo coming in motion from left to right. Got that handoff at full speed, going right past the quarterback, working his way all the way over towards the Hound Dog sideline. His defense just kept stretching him, wouldn't let him get upfield. Nice job.
So 3rd down and 4 now for the Hound Dogs. And the snap goes to the quarterback, Lara, gives it to Jaramillo. He's got a first down, keeps his feet, moves it across the 40. And we've got a helmet coming off of somebody. Somebody's lost the headgear, but meanwhile the Hound Dogs pick up another first down as he moves it out to the 43-yard line for a gain of 13. And we're inside a minute to play here in the fourth quarter. So they'll reset the chains. Aurora will have an opportunity to snap the ball maybe one more time. Yeah, a lot of guys out there right now on the field. They'll be seeing each other again next Monday in the JV game, but they're getting some Friday night football action here in front of this crowd at Wildcat Stadium. So 1st and 10. Lara going to run it himself. Slips inside a tackle, goes across midfield into Cassville territory, has another Hound Dog first down as he moves it all the way down to the Wildcat 45. Picks up 12 yards. He's got 26 yards on 3 carries. So they will have to reset the chains. Well, wait a minute. We've got a flag all the way over on the Hound Dog sideline. Well, we had to have one more. And this is going to go against Aurora. So it takes away a nice run from Lara and moves it all the way back to the 33.
Wow. I didn't see the call on that, but
that had to be behind the line of scrimmage. And then they back him up all the way back there. So first down for the Hound Dogs, but first down and nearly 25 to go. And now it's a low snap, and Lara's just going to have to dive on it back at the 20-yard line. And that may be the final play of the game. We're down to 20 seconds and counting. Play clock is at 30, so the game clock well inside the play clock. And we're down to 10, and the Hound Dogs are not going to come out of the huddle. That's going to do it. The Wildcats improved to 2-0 as they defeat Aurora tonight, 42-14. The Hound Dogs fall to 0-2. It's the Bell Bowl next week for Aurora, and the Wildcats welcome the 2-0 Seneca Indians here to Wildcat Stadium. Nice win for the season home opener for Cassville against the Hound Dogs. First time they faced them in a couple of years, with the Hound Dogs going to the east and the Wildcats in the west. And Cassville keeps that winning streak alive against Aurora as well. 42-14, Wildcats victorious. We'll step aside and be back with the postgame. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Back with you at Cassville. The Wildcats defeat Aurora 42-14. It's now time for the Law Office of John A. Leewright postgame show. The Law Office of John A. Leewright wants everyone to remember, if you don't talk, you may walk, and to call 417-847-2177. That's 417-847-2177. Cassville had a 42-7 lead at halftime, and the only points put on the board in the second half came by the Hound Dogs with 2:37 left to go in the third. A 43-yard pass from Kelton Brown to Jax Prater. PAT made it 42-14, and that was the final points of the night as Cassville improves to 2-0 on the season, and the Wildcats will be at home again next Friday night hosting the Seneca Indians, and Seneca was on their way to a 2-0 start as well. It now has gone final. They shut out Springfield Catholic 65-0. So Seneca with 44 points against this Aurora bunch in week 1. They score 65 against Catholic. They are going to be a formidable opponent next week in week number 3 as they come to Wildcat Stadium. We will continue on with the post game here, and we'll be visiting with Coach Clay Weldy after a little bit, looking at some of the final stats from tonight's ball game. For the Aurora Hound Dogs, they rushed the ball 36 times for 162 yards. They were 3 of 15 through the air for 55 yards for a total of 217 yards of offense. Hound Dogs picked up 10 first downs. They had 2 turnovers, both on interceptions. They were plagued by penalties tonight. 10 penalties for 85 yards, and they punted 5 times for a 35-yard average. Cassville ran the ball 29 times for 242 yards. The Wildcats 3 of 6 through the air for 134. So they ended up with 376 yards of offense, also had 10 first downs, did not turn the ball over. Cassville was penalized 5 times for 60 yards, and they punted twice for a 36-yard average. Individual numbers for the Hound Dogs, they were led rushing by Kelton Brown, 80 yards on 9 carries and a touchdown. Evan Hartwickson was held to 23 yards on 8 carries, and Jax Prater was held to 14 yards on 11 carries. Prater also had a touchdown catch tonight, and that one went for 43 yards. Cassville, again, distributing the ball around through several different players. Bodie Rose had 76 yards rushing and a touchdown. Bryson Jacobson, 75 yards rushing and 2 scores. Trey Wilson had 88 yards rushing and a touchdown. He also caught a pass for 67 yards. That was good for a score. And Garrett Ewing had 2 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. So 5 different players finding the end zone tonight for Cassville as they win it 42-14. Some of the other finals, as we said, Seneca shut out Catholic 65-0. Lamar was a 28-0 winner over Rogersville. Nevada has defeated Reed Spring 34-7. Those are the finals we have. Last score we got from McDonald County, the Mustangs leading the Blue Jays from Marshfield 21-7. And late in the football game, East Newton and Hollister tied at 7. That game over south of Granby. And then the Monette Mount Vernon game will resume tomorrow night. They started last night, got delayed by lightning, and they will resume Saturday night at Burrow Fowler Stadium. Mount Vernon leading 7-0, and that one to start at 7 o'clock tomorrow. But Cassville with a 42-14 win. They're off to a 2-0 start. We will step aside, let you hear from our sponsors, continue on with the Law Office of John A. Leewright postgame show here from Cassville. Back with you here in Cassville. The Wildcats win it tonight 42-14 over the Aurora Hound Dogs. Time to hand out our post-game awards. First up, our hard hit of the night. And it is brought to you by Berry County Ready Mix. For any and all of your ready mix, stone, or aggregate needs, stop by Berry County Ready Mix at any of their convenient locations in Shell Knob, Cassville, or Eagle Rock. You can call the Cassville office for a free estimate at 847-3200. Our hard hit of the night, we had several candidates once again throw their hat into the ring, but we selected Ethan Lamborn late in the first half. He put a big hit on a ball carrier down here between the 30 and 40-yard line. That one kind of stood out to us, and Ethan Lamborn gets our hard hit of the night.
Yeah, as you said, we had some candidates tonight, and there was some physical play, especially, things started getting a little chippy, but, yeah, that one was the one that stuck out the most to us tonight.
Like in week one, a lot of different guys found the end zone, so we had several candidates for our player of the game here tonight as well. Our Wildcat player of the game brought to you, as always, by Fast Trip in Cassville. Whether fuel, grocery items, fountain drinks, snacks, ice cream is what you're looking for. They've got an ATM inside the store if you're needing some cash. Fast Trip has it all, the very best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Trey Wilson is our player of the game tonight. He runs for over 85 yards and a touchdown. He also hauls in a 67-yard touchdown pass, so 150 yards of total offense and 2 touchdowns for Trey Wilson, and that's after scoring 3 touchdowns in week number 1.
Yeah, you look when you have 1, 2, 3, 4. When you've got 4 or 5 plays over 50 yards in a game, and Wilson's got a couple of those his own. I mean, you got people making big plays all over the field, and he had a nice game. Had a nice game last week, but tonight he edged out a couple of others. And congratulations to him.
Yeah, they're going to make it tough on us this year if
Right.
this keeps up the way the first 2 weeks.
That's fine with me. Spread it around. Let's see who
exactly. They
who
keep
can
putting
do it.
up numbers like this and guys finding the end zone. We'll figure out what to do.
Yeah, we'll make the call.
Again, our Wildcat player of the game is Trey Wilson, brought to you by Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today. We continue on with the Law Office of John A. Lee Wright post-game show. Their professional personnel believe in your rights to a fair hearing and representing you with the utmost expertise, integrity, and excellence. Phone the Law Office of John A. Lee Wright at 847-2177. That's 847-2177. We hope to get a word with Coach Clay Weldy before we clear on out of here. A lot of fans out on the field enjoying this one, the home opener for the Wildcats. They jump out to an early lead and ride that lead on to a 2-0 start here in 2022. We'll step aside, be back to have a word with Coach Weldy after this break. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Back at Cassville, joined here in the postgame by Wildcats, Coach Clay Goldie. We appreciate your time. Congratulations, Wildcats off to a 2-0 start. You win the home opener tonight, 2-14 over Hound Dogs.
Thanks.
Well, hard football game throughout much of the night. Big plays turned tight. The Wildcats favored a lot of them, and those plays got a big right to a win.
Yes, we're probably good. We obviously taken toss down field time, and you know, it's good. It's what makes us more in my basement, but actually what makes you feel better. Executed a lot of plays on flawlessly, and I get played, and it was about what's down, you know, touchdowns. And I'm proud of the way kids played. You know, came out early and some penalties were subdued. And then kind of this shit, and once we started playing well, kind of coming in, hit big plays and held it for the half.
That was one of the games time was penalty stuff you clean up in practice every week 3.
Yeah, man. And walked out, you know, we're going to do little lanes, playing beat discipline. Now we're going to do this part of the game, and we're kind of calm down to halftime about getting a class program and built the credit, which we didn't respond before we really did, and it showed how we got started by doing it correctly.
Well, a week ago, last week you got the Ulster, night you had the ball and the lead. You respond clearly in possession of town and plus city yard, and that started 6 consecutive positions of touchdown.
Yeah, and really got out of our own way. You know, I said we had some way done early, and once we stopped doing that, we could get the ball in the field and have you know, better artists for play calls and for execution. When you're fighting the chain first and 15 or second 20, it's tougher to execute than when you're second and 4 and 2. And once we got that stuff figured out, we executed the way we want to do and began playing the way we want every week. Like I said, mentioned, hit some big plays, so we were executing with just some more plays that, you know, moved the chain.
Start with your defense. They hold them to less than 100 yards of offense in the first half, and after giving first touchdown, then you keep them off the rest of the first half. They end up getting just a little over 2 yards of offense on the night, but they've got some speed coming out of their with the Hartwickson kid and the Prater, and Brown's got a strong arm. You pick him off, well, you can the backup off tonight, so 2 options for your defensive secondary, and you keep those 2 speed guys coming out of the backfield as they combine for less than 2 yards tonight.
You know, I thought our defense, you know, Coach Glidewell had a very good game all week. Watching him practice, I felt like we were going to have an offensively. My big going into the game on both sides was their size up front, them being physical. And that first drive, I mean, they really kind of ran right at us and did some damage in the running game. And once we kind of got that short, our defense began stops and started some losses and, you know, for 0 gain. And then we got offense rolling, and it all kind of came together. That first drive was scary. The thing I was worried about all week, the side taking over, and then eventually wore them down and had away with them.
6+ yard pass play, Rose Wilson, a couple of 50-yard plays, one on a run by Jacobson. He did a great job staying in bounds right here in front of the Cassville bench and down the sidelines. He did a little razzle-dazzle with the first halfback option pass for a score, and then a run by Bodie Rose on the opposite sideline. Came out over. It looked like they bottled up. Next thing you know, he pops out, and sidelines he goes.
Yeah, and that's back to execution. We had our line began getting hold for us. We wanted to our receiver to really jump on the edge. You know, our running backs walking back and say he's hold the run to the screen. And I shoved by 60 pounds, and he's down that field for a nice run. So, graphic, but also execution was boy on edge.
Game rose well. Different guys find the end zone. 4 years had a touchdown. Takes with 2. Wilson had 2 running, receiving, and you know that now. Not able to sprint around. A lot of guys put points on board for because that makes it very difficult to defend.
Yeah, we tried to help the ball around offensively, and I was not trying to touch the ball and make it happen. So we got in zone. That's one offensively. You know, it's really nice. One guy's a hot game. We ride that. It was really mid around to and everyone's playing well. So
Wingley got in the first half, too. It's the up the sheet, but something to recognize here, the blocking was real good and effective. You had running backs like leading way for Wilson. You had receivers get blocked on the edge, and your offensive linemen were 5 and 7 yards downfield, guys, and making holes for running back through.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, once again, second week we were outweighed by quite a bit. But our linemen tough kids, our backs are tough kids, receiver kids, and this kept eventually, like we kind of grinded them, wore them down, and it started a pace for us, you know. And our kids right now, they will fight you, and you know, we have some caller tough kids, and kind of have in our community, and that's what our program is all about, and that's been working the last 2 weeks.
Well, big win tonight. You're off to a 2-0 start, defeating Aurora 2-14. Next week you're at home again. You're going to be on another 2-0 team. So had defeated this Aurora team in week 1, 44-8, and they put 65 on board tonight at home at Spring Valley, and they'll be coming to town next Friday.
We're going to have a tough matchup with them. You know, Coach Hill did a great job there. They're very physical. A lot of coming back of a team that won a district championship a year ago. So we know that we're going to have our hands full this weekend. It's getting ready over the weekend next week for them at home. We're expecting a hard-nosed 4-quarter type, you know, old-school Big 8 type black and blue game. It's going to be physical, and I think we'll be up for a challenge.
The Mars kid is back for them running the football. He's got some help coming out of the backfield, and Gavin Hoover takes over at quarterback, and you say, well, it's a new quarterback, but he's got a lot of varsity experience because he was in a lot in the second half of games a year ago when it was lopsided scores. So he's now taking over the offense, and they're off to a great start.
And, you know, we saw their game last week, throwing the ball way more this year, too. You know, they're more diverse, and, of course, they fly around defense. You know, a high school buddy of mine, Matt, is the coordinator there, and he does a job. And so it's a really tough matchup for us. kind of identical scenes as far as physical game with play action passing and tough scoring defense. And I think it'll be a slobber knocker.
That'll be a heck of a game to get the Big 8 started up,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Well, congratulations on winning. We thank you for dropping by and visiting with our post game. Have a good week, and we'll catch you next Friday.
Thanks, Sammy.
Hey, Coach Weldy, you join us here. The Wildcats Hound Dogs 40-14. We'll be back things up right after this. Big 8 football on Talent Sports. Back with you for the final time here in Cassville. The Wildcats were 2-0. They defeated Aurora 40-14, built up a 42-halftime lead, and rode it onto the second consecutive win here in 22. They'll be back at home Friday night when the Seneca come to town. Seneca also 2-0 as they defeat Springfield County 65-0. The battle of 2-0 team get the West rolling for the Wildcats next Friday here from Wildcat Stadium. We'll be along as well at 6:30 for the pregame kickoff here on 7 FM and CassvilleTV.com. Well, a great start of the season for the Wildcats. They go on the road, pick up a nice win at Hollis over a good Tiger team. And then they take care of business here tonight in the opener against the Hound Dogs. Behind early, they got things rolling and on into the second quarter, build up a big halftime lead and go to the win. And like Coach Weldy said, Big 8 West opponent coming in, another very good football team, the Indians. As a lot of people were looking in the West, Lamar and Nevada, but Seneca's trying to surprise some people like Cassville has through these 2 weeks.
Yeah, talk the Big 8 and look at the Big 8. There's some good football right now, and the Indians are going to town, and we kind of an idea that the guys returning. Remember from last year that are great players, and they're playing well, put a lot of points and not giving up very many. I don't know, did they give up a score last week?
8.
All right, so in 2 games, and they scored about 113 or so.
And I've heard both the Aurora coach and now from Weldy what he's seen on film, and it's not going to the Tom Hodge days with 3 and 4 yards between the offensive linemen. The physicality of those linemen is back for Seneca. Coach Hilbert has brought some of the back school traditional stuff to Seneca. When they get physical down there in the trenches, they're tough.
And that's what Cassville has tried to pride themselves on for years and years. Be physical, and just play hard enough football. And when 2 teams like that come together, there can be some fireworks. It'll be a lot of fun. Physical football, fun to watch, and it's going to be interesting to see how this whole shakes out because the conference are, and so they're coming on. A lot of people pumping them up. Going to be pretty good this year, and they're so far after that billing. Seneca, I think we thought they were going to be good. I don't know that we thought we would see them doing what they've done first 2 weeks. I know that people have thought Cassville would do what Cassville has done the first 2 weeks. So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm here at Cassville, not having to go down Seneca.
Right.
So nice to have the Indians here rather than to play them down there. So I'm excited for it next week. It'll be a good one.
Should be a great one here at Cassville. Things gone final here tonight. Seneca like 65-9. Dodgersville 8-0. Down March 55-13. They're on top of Spring 34-7. Hollister 7-7. In Newton 14-7. So it's your final. One more big game yet to complete. The game that was suspended last night when the Mountaineers and the Cubs will resume all night at 7 o'clock. They'll pick it up this quarter. We're Lightning stop game. Mount Vernon leads 7-9 in that last. Finish it for Team tomorrow, and then all the week number 2 will be completed. It'll be on week number 3. Look how quickly got here now. We're already 2 weeks in the season. Moving right along.
Yeah, college football tomorrow. Then we'll be here right around the corner. Small playoffs or shape up. We talk about a great time here, so much going on. Some things to talk about.
Yeah, print out a timber calendar for the sports stations, and it just crammed back all the stuff. Because this weekend we've got Cardinals tonight. We got Cardinals again tomorrow night on stations. We have Missouri Tigers tonight. We got the Arkansas Razorbacks tomorrow. We got NASCAR Saturday, Sunday. The Chiefs will be starting another week, and and then high school football thrown in on top of that. It's a busy time in September because the same happens in the spring, but in September it really gets crazy because you have baseball down, college and high school and NFL football starting up, NASCAR winding down. So we cover this at the Talent Sports Network. So it gets wild and crazy in September.
Programming is a challenge.
It is. That is exactly right. And that Monette getting postponed last night's thrown in of a challenge in the
Right.
program.
Squeeze that in somewhere.
That's exactly right. We appreciate you being with us tonight here on the Talent Network, and glad to have everyone along for number 2. We thank all the folks at Cassville for all the hospitality, Elector Doug Martin and all of his staff, and everyone here at Cassville for courtesies extended to us. All of our sponsors help support our broadcasts. They're the ones that can happen. You'll hear them mentioned here in the rub. They help us get us out on the airwaves. So drop by those folks, know that you appreciate the support of the Cassville High School athletics, but also broadcast. Thanks to running the camera for us again tonight. And Todd and myself will be again next Friday. Wildcats will be here at home taking on Indians. We hope you join us then. And we appreciate Dwayne for keeping an eye on back at the studios for us as well here through week 2 season. Once again, full score, Cassville 2, Aurora 14. That's going to do it tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. Speaking for Todd and Jeremy, this Sam saying thanks for good night from Wildcat Stadium.